Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our regular council meeting. Madam Clerk, please roll call.
Councilwoman Estimé Irvin.
Present.
Councilman Galvin.
Here.
Councilman Desome.
Here.
Mayor Bieneme.
Here.
Vice Mayor Keys.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you very much. We're going to have our Pledge of Allegiance with Officer Paul Laguerre, followed by Pastor Geraldine B. Whitaker from the Way of Illness Outreach Ministries for the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear Father, as you have chosen the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami to meet again, our prayer is that they will meet in unity and not be divided. As you have strategically placed them in office to govern the business and affairs of this great city of North Miami, I pray that everything will be done decently and in order. Let it be ordained that they make right and sound decisions in behalf of the city of North Miami. Let the outcome of this meeting be phenomenal and productive as they work together. As a result of the city council meeting tonight, I pray that it will give us hope and a future as they follow your leading. Thank you now, Father God, for the answer. Amen.
Amen. Now, before we move with the agenda, Mr. Manager, do we have any addition, deletion, or amendment to the agenda?
No, we do not, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr. City Attorney, are we set?
Yes, sir. The agenda is set. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. And now, special presentation. Let's move downstairs, please. Tonight we are going to have, I think, 3 special presentation, and the first one is with Lucia Gonzalez from the North Miami Library. Where is Lucia? She's not yet. Oh, please. That's when they add your name. Just go ahead.
I'd like to invite the friends
Okay.
and other staff that are here. This is a very special presentation tonight. It is about community, and it is about a tradition that has been in our community for a very long time, for 50 years. In 1969, just as Sesame Street saw the light and the first episodes of Sesame Street were out on TV, well, there was this group of young teenagers who, on Halloween night, they said they were too old to be trick-or-treating around the streets of the neighborhood, and they wanted to play a prank. And they came up with an idea. That night of Halloween 1969, they climbed to the top of the library, and on top of the steeple of the library, not seen by anyone, they placed a pumpkin, a jack-o'-lantern. And November 1st, everyone came to the library and they saw that and they were amazed. It must have been a lot of fun. But not only that, the next year, the same group of young people, they got together, and I don't know how they did it, but they repeated the prank, and it became a tradition. And on Halloween night, they get together. Imagine they're in their 60s, in their late 60s now, right? If they were teenagers in 1969, and we don't know who they are, and we've never been able to discover their identity. But they are planning and they're plotting and they're out there in the community, and who knows, some of them might still be sitting next to you. And on October 31st, themselves, or maybe their grandchildren, they'll climb on top of the roof of the library to place a jack-o'-lantern. A wonderful tradition, urban lore, right in the midst of North Miami. For 50 years, this tradition goes on and lives. And our very own city PIO wrote a poem, which we will be reading on October 31st at the library, and at Haunted Trails on the 25th, about this wonderful feat that happens every year on Halloween night. And now, who's going to read the proclamation? I just gave you the background.
Thank you very much. This proclamation is for the 50th anniversary of Coxialmi, whereas in 1969, a group of Boy Scouts from Troop 42, calling themselves Coxialmi, placed a pumpkin on the North Miami Library. And Lucia just tell the story, and on behalf of myself and the City Council, I want to present this proclamation to the library and the friends of the library. Congratulations.
They have to give it to us because we don't know who they are. But this is really for them, for Coxey's Army, and for their dedication to community and this wonderful, wonderful thing that happens.
Thank you very much. The second presentation, it's the Employee of the Quarter, and it's going to be done by Park and Rec.
Good evening, everybody. Lucia stole all my thunder, so I'm going to ask my Parks and Rec staff to come up who's in attendance for this quarter, this Employee of the Quarter, summer of 2018. So everyone from Parks and Recreation, please come up. One more, two more. I want to first and foremost thank my staff that you see up here, and this is not all of us, it's just a handful of us, but it takes a lot of dedication and hard work for us to try to provide you the best Parks and Rec services in the country. Without further ado, this summer 2019 Employee of the Quarter goes to no other than Mikey Sheehan. Mikey Sheehan. Mikey consistently rise above and beyond his daily responsibilities. As a recreation supervisor, as a recreation specialist, his duties include maintaining a facility, ensuring that the facility is staffed, and ensuring that the daily basis of the facility is maintained. In addition to his daily responsibilities, Mikey has taken on the planning and implementation of a citywide summer program that ensures 6, and let me repeat that, 6 summer camp field trips, summer camp food service, summer camp transportation, and summer camp swimming for all 6 facilities throughout the city of North Miami. In addition to that, he is one of the lead for hiring and evaluating our summer staff, making sure that our snacks that we receive a grant from the state of Florida are ensured each day, and lunches, hot lunches for over 5,000 lunches and snacks this summer in 2019. Mikey also takes charge and helps out with our police department with our turkey distributions every year, and is a part of, as you can see, our Parks and Recreation department, and shows his exemplary performance every day. Without a doubt, I don't know if any of you were able to come out Saturday to our pumpkin carving, where Mikey and his staff led the charge along with the JCs and the Keystone Point Homeowners Association. Over 80 pumpkins were carved. Our very own Councilman Scott Galvin was in attendance as well. And without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Mikey Sheehan. Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't need that. Mostly them. We're good.
Now for the last presentation, I invite Councilwoman Marie Estimé Irvin.
Good evening. This week is a very special week. The City of North Miami Mayor and Council, we're celebrating what we call the Florida City Government Week. So this week we are encouraging the residents and business owners and employees and everyone to really get involved, to be really civically engaged, and to do something nice, to volunteer. There's an opportunity this Saturday where we're doing cleanup. So anyone that like to volunteer and do some cleanup. So and this week, I believe that we are all available to you. Well, we should always be available to you, but especially this week, we are all available to you, residents that are at home listening, for any meetings or anything that you want. I know personally, I'm having a coffee with the councilwoman tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. So anyone can talk to me. Anyway, so this week we are taking advantage of this. And on yesterday, actually, we had the privilege of having some students throughout North Miami go tour the police department and see, and it was actually a tour for myself. I didn't realize how much I didn't really know what our police officers were doing. So that was that. We also had the shooter survivor course that our police department had as well. Today, we were able to go to an elementary school to teach them about civic engagement, about census, and all of that. So I'm not going to talk any much longer. Tonight, we're also going to honor some what we call unsung heroes. These are people, no special criteria, that are just doing, that didn't even know they were going to be recognized, but that are doing nice things, like just cleaning up a canal, or mowing a lawn, or being very active in elementary school. So we thought it would be nice to go ahead and this week, to recognize some folks. So we're going to do that. I'm going to start with my group of people. One moment.
I'm going to call the Vice Mayor Carol Keys for District 2 presentation. We're going to call by council member. Oh. Oh, go ahead. No, she's going to call.
Anyway, as we honor the NOMI unsung residents this evening, we are taking time to acknowledge those who go the extra mile to make his or her neighborhood a better place to live. This presentation is made to a few residents that I know have made our city and neighborhoods a better place. They've devoted their time and talent and service to address lighting, traffic, environmental concerns, safety, quality of life, cleanliness, code enforcement, and they continue to make positive contributions to our city. These are our unsung heroes in District 2, and please help me welcoming our 2019 unsung resident recipients of District 2. Webby Welsh from Sans Souci, come on up. Robert Husted from Palomar, who can't be with us this evening. Annie Montgomery from Keystone Point. And Tanjim Hussein from Central.
Okay, so tonight I'm going to be, one of the person that we'll be honoring would be Ignaire Séraphin. He's been a resident here for 23 years. Are you here, Ignaire? We have, oh, okay, great. We'll also be honoring Chelsea Gomez. She's been a resident of the city for 4 years, very active in this North Miami Elementary. Also, William Young. He's been a resident for 24 years here, and this one is really special to me because he actually mows the lawn on the canal, anyone knows, in Bree Sweat area, and doesn't take a dime for us, and he's been doing this for about 5 to 6 years. I just wanted to recognize him. We have Vitor Federic, another special one. He actually helps out the Parks Department, where he actually opens up the Buccaneer Park for the residents in that area. And we also have Jean-Baptiste, we call him Thibault, that he also helps out in this area as well. And then we have Ozzy Randall. Ozzy is big on making sure that our canal is clean. He's actually been written up before in the Herald for that. So these are the people that the unsung heroes that I would like to honor tonight.
Thank you. And now for District 4. I am so proud to be the councilman of District 4. We have great residents throughout the district who have done beyond and above great things in our community, and some of them will be recognized tonight as I recognize our unsung heroes of District 4. With them, some have lived in the city for over 62 years, 39 years, 27 years. Regardless of their time in the city, these are individuals who have volunteered countless hours to our senior, the senior program, the Nomi Gold and Silver senior program. Every Wednesday and every Friday, we have a program where we get approximately 100 and some odd seniors within our community, and they fellowship together. They do all sorts of activities, and these volunteers have been there every single time to make sure that they are eating on time, they are on field trips, assisting them and doing all these different type of things. So without any further ado, I would like to recognize the following, and this is just a small group from a larger group. Chandra Bishop, please come up. Patricia Holiday. Viola Rivas. Yeah, Victor. Oh, they got Rita, yes, I'm sorry. Viola, I'm sorry. And Yvna Joseph. Viola, I'm sorry.
Okay, I don't mind.
Thank you very much, and that concludes our presentation for tonight. City events.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, North Miami neighbors, and guests. My name is Unicia Baker, and I'm the Senior Public Information Officer, and I'm here to share some of our upcoming outreach programs, initiatives, and events with you. This week, District 3 Councilwoman Mary Estime Irvin is hosting the inaugural Florida City Government Week in North Miami. This week is filled with strategic activities to better acquaint North Miami residents of all ages and local businesses with the inner workings of our government. Visit northmiamifl.gov for a full listing of events. North Miami's next Florida City Government Week event gives you the opportunity to enjoy a coffee with the councilwoman along with great conversation about the community on Wednesday, October 23rd from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. It's going to be at the Griffin Community Center.
9 a.m., ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. The next Florida City Government Week event takes place Thursday, October 24th, and it includes a business luncheon with Councilwoman from 12 to 2. It's going to take place at the North Miami Public Library. Councilwoman Estime Irvin and the Greater North Miami Chamber of Commerce, along with the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce of Florida, will share information with local business owners of the West Dixie, Northeast 6th Avenue, and other commercial areas of the city. Councilman Alex Ezume will host the District 4 Town Hall Thursday, October 24th at 6:30 p.m. at the Joe Celestine Center. Topics include housing rehab, police, social services, emergency management, street and public works. This is a featured North Miami Florida City Government Week event. The North Miami Police Department will host its second free active shooter survival learning session for the general public on Monday, November 4th, 2019 at the Joe Celestine Center from 6 to 8 p.m. The first was this week. To RSVP or to learn more, please email scherry@northmiamipolice.com. That's SCHERY@northmiamipolice.com. Get to Nomi to witness the ribbon cutting of the grand opening of the Nomi Food Market. That's going to take place this Friday, October 25th from 10 a.m. at the Sunkissed Grove Community Center. Spearheaded by District 4 Councilman Alex Ezume, with support from Feeding South Florida and the Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation, the pantry is the first local government-sponsored food pantry organized through Feeding South Florida. With nutritious goods available exclusively to North Miami residents, the pantry provides a variety of choice produce, shelf-table items, benefits assistance, and healthy recipes for the entire family. It will exclusively serve verified North Miami residents. To ask questions or to learn more, to apply for pantry services, or to schedule your household's weekly pantry appointment, just call 786-570-9502. This is a featured North Miami Florida City Government Week event. The next Jazz at Mocha will take place Friday, October 25th at 8 p.m. in the Mocha Plaza. This month's performer is Curtis Taylor. The concert is free and takes place on the last Friday of each month. This is a featured North Miami Florida City Government Week event. The haunted trails of North Miami's Enchanted Forest are spookier than ever this Halloween season, and you're invited to enjoy them at your own risk. The City of North Miami invites you to join us Friday, October 25th from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. Bring the entire family out to enjoy a spooktacular costume parade of our local ghouls and goblins, games, music, spooky storytellers, and fall festivities. While traveling through the trails, be sure to visit Coxey's Army Barracks. Sponsored with support from Mocha, this stop on the trail features pumpkin decorating and a video story to honor the 50th year of this legacy here in North Miami. For more information about haunted trails, call the North Miami Parks and Recreation Department at 305-895-9840. Saturday, October 26th from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m., community volunteers are invited to join forces to clean our community in partnership with Keep North Miami Beautiful. Supplies will be provided. Volunteers will gather at the Griffin Community Center, and they may RSVP in advance by emailing district3@northmiamifl.gov. This is a featured North Miami Florida City Government Week event. The Museum of Contemporary Art invites you to stop by for Mocha Family Day. That's on Saturday, October 26th from noon until 3 p.m. This free event is your chance to create, enjoy, celebrate, and win. It's sponsored by the South Florida Automobile Dealers Association. This is a featured North Miami Florida City Government Week event. Also on Saturday, October 26th at 3 p.m., there's a movie on the lawn at Griffin Park. Councilwoman Estime Irvin, in partnership with Team of Hope, invite you to enjoy an evening of family activities, bounce houses, games, snacks, and more. Don't forget your lawn chairs and blankets to enjoy a free showing of Disney's The Lion King. This is also a featured North Miami Florida City Government Week event. Sunday, October 27th at 7 a.m., join Councilwoman Mary Estime Irvin as she as she observes Clergy Appreciation Month by recognizing Reverend Father Fritzner Belonce with a proclamation for his continuous guidance and support of the North Miami community. This will take place at Holy Family Catholic Church located at 14500 Northeast 11th Avenue in North Miami. This is also a featured Florida City Government Week event. Coxey's Army and the North Miami Halloween Pumpkin Prank celebrate their 50th anniversary at 6 p.m. on Halloween night. The North Miami Public Library invites you to mark this milestone with a party. Enjoy scary stories, treats, costumes, spooky music, and more. And don't forget your trick-or-treat bags. And please bring pictures and poems about the pumpkin left on the steeple of the NOMI Library each Halloween. Stay up to date with the latest happenings in our city by visiting www.northmiamifl.gov. Then click the Connect with NOMI icon on the homepage where you can sign up to receive our monthly e-newsletter. Residents may also like the City of North Miami on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And this concludes this evening's announcements.
Thank you very much. Now it's city projects, and we are going to have an update about our water plant renovation report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and North Miami residents. Whistler Pierre Lewis, Public Works Director. Tonight I'll be presenting a update for the Winston Water Treatment Plant project. This update is to supplement what we have on our website. We have a CIP, Capital Improvement Project link, which has a lot of information on various projects that are going on throughout the city. The water plant improvements are for the human health benefits, which is of producing safe drinking water. The North Miami community leaders have always ensured protection of health and environmental resources for its residents. The water plant was originally constructed in 1962, which makes it more than 60 years old, and since that time, there has been no major improvements made to the water plant. This process has required many solicitations, many resolutions to be approved by council, and we are also funding this project with state revolving loans. On the slide, you'll see that the loan that was used to repair the filters was an amount of approximately $4.4 million, of which we had $800,000 of the principal forgiven. And we also received a super low interest rate of 0.61%. The rehabilitation is progressing. The well rehab was completed in 2016. We completed the filter rehab in July of 2019. Earlier this month, we had the state FDEP come to do the final closeout inspection. This will be the second SRF loan project that we have closed out. The remaining portion is for what we call the water treatment plant rehab and storage tanks. We anticipate the startup of that project, of the actual facility, in late 2022. This project is complex and it requires a methodical, phased approach to minimize plant shutdown and interruption of services. On this slide are the costs associated with the project. The well rehab was approximately $240,000 and it was completed in November 2016. The filter project was approximately $3.15 million, completed in July of this year, and the pending portion is for the rehab and storage tanks, which right now is estimated to be $20 million. We anticipate the project will start in October 2020 and will be completed in September 2022. That completes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Do you have any question on the dais?
Yeah, just, thank you. We asked for this last week. It's good for the residents to know that we are working on our water and, our water plant, and we are moving along. Your one slide says startup approximately late 2022. The other slide says start 2020, finish in 2022, so.
Startup of the facility. That's the term that we use once construction is finished.
Oh, okay.
The
Oh, I
actual
see.
operations.
Okay, thank you. So why are we waiting, why do we still waiting another year before we even start? What do we still have to do with that?
Right now, it's in the design phase.
Okay.
Once we finish the design phase, we go through permitting, we solicit a contractor, and the construction start date is October 2020. It'll take about two years to complete the construction.
We don't have the contractor yet? This is.
We do not have the contractor yet.
Okay, thank you. And good report, thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott. Councilwoman Alex.
No.
I have a question. What about the building?
The new building is part of that final phase, which will start in October 2020.
You said the rehab and the storage. You haven't said anything about the building here, no?
The final phase includes the construction of the building.
Okay. When will you start with, you're telling me the last RFP gonna be for the remaining $20 million, including the building and the rehab and the storage, for the rehab and the storage?
Yes, Mayor.
But if I'm not mistaken, we had a presentation about the building like 5-6 years ago, and you said we haven't choose a company yet. It was a concept, the one that was presented years ago.
What you selected the last time was the design consultant to design the building, the storage tanks.
Okay.
And the rehab.
You have that. You don't have that in your presentation.
But
we did the design already, right? About the building.
The design is in process. It's not completed
It's
yet.
not completed. Okay. What about that yellow building that you present like 6 years ago? About the new building.
That was a conceptual drawing, yes.
It was okay. What about the property across the street that you acquire based on what assumption that you acquire those land if you don't have the design, nothing?
The land acquisition was for the installation of the storage tanks. We are proposing to install 2 storage tanks on the properties that were purchased by the city.
Okay, but you don't have a description of how you're gonna spend the remaining $20 million.
And with all of in all of the solicitations, you have had resolutions which have included proposals from the consultants, which state the entire scope, all phases that will be designed, the durations, the milestones, along with conceptual drawings that have been approved from DRC. The last presentation was done in April of this year, and it included that information.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the most important part. The other one we understand about the filtration, the rehab, and the last part, the building and the phase of the remaining $20 million. That's the most important part of the presentation that we are looking for. Mr. Manager, I don't know if you can follow on that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Whistler, let's cut to the chase, because when is it gonna finish? Because I have been receiving some calls regarding the project, but I'm thinking this is something that should be done within the next 2 years, but I'm seeing stuff in 2022. So when would the complete, is it money that we need, or what's the holdup?
The slide before you says that the status is pending.
What
Construction will
status?
start-
What status? I'm saying, why?
The project is currently in the design phase.
It's in the, okay,
You have
design.
to design the facility.
No, I understand the
before-
process. Design and then all this. So when is the complete, the 2022 you saying?
Yes.
is when everything would be complete.
Yes.
So that's 3 years from now.
Yes.
So any residents call me just 3 years from now. The other question, well, 2020 hasn't started yet. I'm thinking I'm in 2019 yet. The other question, and we had this discussion, Mr. Manager, have we done the outreach properly?
So, per our discussion, yeah, we have talked about it. We will be, as we go into the letting of the construction phase, we will include outreach as part of that process. So we'll have a company, we'll select a company that will go out at that time. They're not needed now during the design because there's no physical construction going on with regards to that phase. So,
but I think we need to either have and that's been our problem. We need to either have a town hall, and if 2 people showed up, that's on them. But we need to let people know early, not when we're ready to disrupt their lives for a couple of months. Your department should be having some type of meeting saying this is what we are, this is what we're doing, and we are gonna come back and let the residents know around that surrounded area. Folks, anywhere from in fact, the entire district and the city should be, because this is important for everyone in the city.
Our outreach plan was is going to be obviously concentrated around the physical space, but for the entire city because it affects the water
everybody.
and everything. Yes.
So again, we should do. I'm recommending that you guys do a town hall about that for the community way prior. Whenever you guys decide to do it, to just let people know, give an update.
We can certainly do that. And
Thank you.
We have the lead time to do it now.
How many tanks do we have right now
Right now, we have 2 tanks.
on site?
Yes.
Okay. After the completion of the project, how many we are going to have?
We will have 2 tanks.
2 additional?
No, the 2 existing tanks will be replaced with 2 larger tanks
At the same location?
at the vacant lots across the street from the plant.
Okay, you're going to move those 2 tanks across the street.
Yes, sir.
Where are you going to put the building?
That's why we're taking down one of the tanks to put the building there.
Okay, that's when you're going to remove both tanks.
Yes.
You're going to put it at DMC lot,
Yes.
and you're going to put the building inside of that.
In the fenced area, yes.
Okay. Are you going to block the street?
No.
That's when the street going to stay open? That's the presentation that I think we need. We understand that the other part of the project has been done. That's the last phase. That's what
So
we
you
are.
want
From what I understand, I in 2013 there is a presentation that was done, and where we had pictures of where the tanks are going to be, the size of the tank, even the building, how much is going to cost. Because if you borrow $38 million, I'm pretty much sure you anticipate how much the building is going to be. And after 6 years, with the price of construction, do you think it's going to be the same?
We update our construction cost estimates throughout the duration of the design, and a lot of the information that you're requesting is available on the city's website.
But that's how we do understand that. That's why we ask for the presentation for everyone to know, especially people who don't want to go on the website to know exactly what we are doing about the water plant. The quick question, right? How many residents do we serve right now?
Right now, we estimate 90,000 residents. Our water service area goes beyond city limits.
Okay. How many gallons of water we are able to, the plant is able to pump in right now, to produce right now?
Our permitted capacity is
Not permitted.
Our permitted capacity is 9.3 million gallons per day. However, without the full upgrade, we have not been able to achieve that. Right now, we are producing approximately 6 million gallons per day.
6 million?
Yes, sir.
It's less than 2013 from what I remember. In 2013, the presentation was 7.1, and now it's $6 million. That's been we are pumping less than.
We are pumping more, and I can provide you with the
We are
water
pumping more
reports
than what?
than 2013.
But I have it home, the presentation that was done. Okay, we don't want to discuss that. Then, at the end of the project, how many gallon will we be able to pump to produce?
At the end of project, we estimate we'll produce approximately 9 million gallons per day.
That's been the full capacity of our permit.
Close to the full capacity.
Okay, that's when we're still gonna buy water from the county.
Even if we were able to produce the 9.3 million gallons per day, we would not be able to produce enough water for all of the residents. We will have to supplement our water production with purchases from Miami-Dade County.
Okay, when you're talking about the age of our system, right?
Yes.
Do you have an idea of how many gallons of water we are losing based on leaks and that's come up really in the sink?
I'm sorry, you're asking for leaks throughout our distribution system?
Yeah.
On the last report that we turned in, it was approximately between 20 and 25%.
25% of that $9 million, of that 9 million gallon that we are gonna be able to produce, we're gonna lose about 25% of that.
Roughly, yes.
Okay. What is the solution?
The solution is to repair our water mains.
What? And what's the cost?
Which is how much it will cost?
For one fraction.
It will cost millions of dollars. I do not have a.
We don't
estimate
have
off
any
the top
study
of my head.
about
No.
our water and sewer infrastructure. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Do we have any question from the public? And yeah, if they have some questions, we're not going to answer each question. Ask the question, and then at the end of the day, we're going to, yes.
Mr. Mayor, I was going to say myself for the citizen forum. Jim Garrett, 11610 North Bay Shore Drive. Our problem is this goes back to the 80s because we had water losses back then with the pipes and the mains, and we didn't have the money back then because we had to serve a bond issue with Interama. The easy solution, and it's very quick, the areas outside the city, the West Side Tract, the Biscayne Park and Biscayne Shores, including Jockey Club and Cricket Club, especially the East Side Tracts, if they don't want to become a part of North Miami, my suggestion is, and I said this to the city manager almost 2 years ago, sell those water accounts, them systems, to Miami-Dade Water and Sewer. Use the money and help that towards our replacement of the mains for the water system and the sewer system. We can take that and we can be creative. He's very creative in financing in a good way. I want to congratulate the manager for that, especially with the water plant. We need to address this. And I think by decreasing the size of the system to the city size, we will be able to serve our own customers based on our license at 9.1. Also, number two, if you don't notice, the Seminoles, they are not governed by any regulatory agency. They've gone into their own water plant business. They built a water plant on their property up in Hollywood because Hollywood tried to raise the rates on them, and they got an unlimited permit, and they can suck the Florida Aqueduct dry, and they're going to start going into the water business. So keep that in mind. Number three, there was a good interview yesterday on WRN radio. It was between 8 and 9. It was the director for Miami-Dade Water and Sewer. There were some interesting facts, but one of the facts is Miami-Dade is going to increase the rates every year to pay for their bond issue for the sewer plants in the county. So what that means, we're going to have rate increases of the water that we buy from WASA. So what we need to do, we need to get off the WASA addiction, and we need to address our own issues. And how we do it, I think the one easy solution is to sell them customers outside the city.
Yes, sir. No, at the end, if there is a question.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I don't know if it was exactly addressed, but I was just curious of that approximately $20 million. How was that allocated between the two new tanks, the new administrative building, and other peripheral pumping equipment and such, the piping and other facility equipment. And I didn't quite catch it, but, and please, please if you can inform me if I missed it, are any of the piping elements going throughout the city, the mains throughout the city, are they being replaced in this cost, or is it just the on-site work that's being proposed and it's $20 million? The next question is it too late for us to, it seems like, regardless of how many times I've mentioned it, I think it would be really good if we have the location of the new parcel of land for the two tanks. Can we also locate the new administration on that same parcel? What that does is, rather than taking down the existing building, relocating people and building on that same site, it allows us to keep that building operating, go to the new structure at when it's done, whether it's delayed or whether it's early, and it also preserves, there's a chance of us retaining some of that park, restoring some of that park. It may have some equipment on there, I understand, maybe some pumping features, some pipes, but it may be able to restore that as a park for that community. Rather than us sort of littering the new site and littering the old site, this is a way of us gaining that, preserving that neighborhood a little bit. It's simple as having your two tanks, and having the third building can even be the footprint of another tank in the future with parking below, like a big mushroom. Simple design, gets us off the floodplain, would not be difficult to do, and would sort of be in the theme. So thank you for consideration, and thank you for answers.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything to say from those two comments?
The cost that was given was for work only at the actual water treatment plant site.
And it's a $38 million project total that we are doing in phases, right?
We're doing
Yes,
it in
yes.
multiple phases, yes.
You're set, no questions? And thank you very much. If we can have a report on the $20 million project, how much is the building, the two tanks, and give us some detail about the last phase of the project. The second presentation is affordable housing and affordable and workforce housing. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Larry Springs, City Manager. Hold on 1 second. Mine is right up there. I'm before you this evening to discuss affordable and workforce housing initiatives. As you know, we've had a number of retreats, public and private discussions about the urgency of housing and our housing needs in the city of North Miami. As background, as you know, we had a study done by FIU, Metropolitan Center. The study showed housing, 61.4% of the renters in North Miami are cost burdened, greater than 30% of household incomes on housing, and 40% are severely cost burdened, which means they're spending greater than 50% of their household incomes on housing costs. As a matter of information, the city's median income is $37,490 a year, based on the timing of the study, which is actually 15% less than the countywide median income, which is $44,224, which means just based on that criteria, we are even cost burdened or impacted by 15% more. It is estimated that 52.8% of the city's city owner households with a mortgage are cost burden as well. So significant mortgage, again, placing them in those percentage buckets. They're spending more than 50% of their household incomes on their mortgage. Housing affordability analysis for owner units in North Miami shows significant gaps at all household income levels below 120% of the city's median income. And of course, further background, Mayor and Council has established housing as a primary policy focus for the city and the CRA. And as you know, in this last budget, we've set aside approximately $3.1 million toward housing. So what do? I worked, and I should acknowledge them, I worked closely with our CP&D staff and our housing staff, Tanya Wilson-Sajor, Debbie Love, and Marie Jean Ferens, on putting together and talking about these strategies. We also looked at the recommendations of the housing study, but those recommendations really just focused on ensuring that we moved our housing stock from, or actually supplemented our housing stock with mixed-use, multifamily strategies as opposed to a single-family strategy. What do? The first step or first strategy really is about focusing on housing incentives, which within our land development regulations and our ordinances. First, administrative approval for site plan reviews and allocations of units. Waiver of impact fees based on a percentage affordability. So if a building is 100% affordable, we would do a full waiver. If it's 15%, we would do 15, so on and so forth. Allow for accessory units and granny flats. As you know, this city put a prohibition on those in the last few years. One of the strategies that the county is using as well as what we're recommending is that we lift that prohibition and look at development details around granny flats so they can be a little bit closer to the property line, maybe a smaller square footage if they're detached in the backyard or attached, and looking at the ability to provide those units. And that would be something that would be encouraged in the private market by allowing this strategy, this policy change. Parking variances. The cost of structured parking is exorbitant right now. It's probably averaging about 30,000 a space right now in South Florida. If you have a project that is affordable, look at allowing for parking waivers. Hopefully those, with all of the TOD updates we've already made, we'll see some of this investment happening along our transportation corridors. And then this is fast tracking permitting is really should have been a little bit broader and say expediting the process and easing the process for the approvals of affordable housing projects, whether they are subsidized by HUD and receiving tax credit financing in a more traditional sense, or in a case where we have a private developer. In the case we just approved last week, Nomi Village, you have a private developer who's actually delivering 100% affordable project with private money by doing rehab. Making sure, we would certify them with our housing staff, but then allow for them to have expedited permitting and take advantage of some of these incentives in the LDRs. Second strategy. This one is very aggressive and I would say jokingly and seriously goes against some of the policy decisions this board has made over the last 4 years. And this would be to create density incentive bonuses to support the development of workforce and affordable housing trust fund. What does that mean? A developer would come in and we would have a overlay or an ability, say the as of right height is 10 stories. However, they're willing to invest more money to go higher. If we would allow for that additional height and density, so more units in that project, if they are willing to make a contribution into an affordable housing trust fund. City of Miami currently has one. I believe the county may have one as well. And what that does is it creates a recurring, consistent pot of leverage dollars that can be used to build units in other areas, or perhaps even buy down units in an existing project. This is, I would say, for our board and our legislative history, a very huge change, almost like a 180-degree turn for the city, because now we would have to really consider higher density along certain areas. Now, obviously, we can control it. We can adjust the LDRs in our existing PD overlays, our existing TOD overlays. So that additional density is in concentrated areas, so it does not harm or impact the feel and the I guess the nature of the build out nature of our communities, our single family home neighborhoods and communities. Keep going the wrong way. And then the final strategies, which I think I'm very proud to say that this council has already stepped up this year, and we're doing it. Leveraging all available funding sources, our HUD entitlement dollars, CRA TIF, Solomia revenues, et cetera. You guys approved 44 units, as I just stated last meeting. We're bringing 5 more. And, you know, I suspect over the remaining year, we will see more units being funded through that significant contribution made by approved by the board this year during the budget. We need to leverage city-owned land assets to develop more affordable units in partnership with private developers. As you know, we are considering a public-private partnership RFP right now, which hopefully will be on the street by the start of the calendar year. Excellent opportunity to take existing surface lots that we have now, which are certainly underutilized, and leverage those assets to create and encourage private development to help build affordable and workforce housing units. And I should make one statement, and it'll come up later. We really need to educate our public about our definition of affordability. I know there's a stigma that goes along with the name affordable housing. And the sad part is when we have private developers telling us that a 1-bedroom, 540 square foot apartment at $1,700 a month or $1,900 a month is affordable. Right. It's ridiculous. Yeah. The South Florida market, as you know, is unnaturally high, and that's because of all the foreign investment that has, you know, I'm not going to say plagued this community, because it has provided for other advantages around the area, but certainly for people who live and work in Miami, Broward, Palm Beach, it has created a significant issue that not only us but the county and all the cities are dealing with. Final strategy is something that has not happened in Dade County to date in a development project, in a single development project, which is to maximize a mixed income strategy, development strategy. What is that? Private developer is building a private market rate apartment building or a condominium. The government comes in and says, okay, we're going to support this project by giving you some of those incentives that I referred to earlier, and we're going to give you $2 million. For that $2 million or a back-end TIF deal where we'll rebate 50% of your taxes, we expect you to provide 10 units, 15 units, 30 units at an affordability range that we would negotiate. What you're doing there is two things. You're directly targeting the issue of affordability because the units will get produced, built, and they will be quite luxury if it's a market rate building. But also you have a social impact. You have now wealthier individuals dwelling, interacting, working, potentially working with individuals who are of less resources, learning from each other, hopefully becoming friends and actually helping each other advance in life. You see this already happening in cities like New York, in Boston, Chicago, but for whatever reason, and I believe I know the reason, it has not happened here. And that reason is the stigma associated with the name affordable housing, or the notion of subsidized housing via Section 8 or some program, or even senior housing that is subsidized by the local or the federal government. You've seen developers, horrible stories of having a building that's actually supposed to be a mixed income building, having two entrances, two lobbies, one for the poor people and one for the rich people. Why do you need to do that? So there's this huge stigma. But in New York, they don't seem to have that problem. In fact, in speaking with our developers, they passed some legislation recently in New York to actually control rents that are having a unintended, consequence to very wealthy apartment owners and developers because they're not going to be able to squeeze all the orange out of the juice anymore to get maximum price. So I believe that is a strategy that we could deploy right now. And you've kind of almost done it with that approval that you did last week, because we did buy down 6 units. Thanks, Mr. Mayor, for asking for the additional ones in that same building. Now, that building, as you know, will average at 85% of Dade County median income, which means it, by its definition, is totally affordable, a total affordable project. But you see where we're going. Next steps. Obviously, after debate and consideration of the staff, I think of the council, we need to do a few things. One, bring back a comprehensive set of ordinances and comprehensive land use changes back to the council and go through the process for consideration. Again, very aggressive. We're talking about density incentive bonuses, additional height, granny flats, all of those things that has traditionally not been something that we would have normally considered in the open market, bringing that stuff back. And I know that's a long process because we've done it before with town hall meetings, going to planning commission, and then finally to the board, and even still having 1 or 2 readings. So that could take some time. But I think if we take an aggressive approach, we can certainly get it done, and we certainly have the energy to do it. Second is to deal with the stigma. We need to develop and implement an education and outreach strategy to educate our constituents so that people understand what affordability is and how we're looking at it, how it affects them. I don't know that we would have as great of an issue with our city because, greater than 50% of our residential dwellers are cost burden right now. So they understand it, they're feeling it, so I'm sure they'll be happy. But for those who don't understand it, get out there and really educate. And finally, pursue a very aggressive engagement strategy with the developer community to encourage investment in the city. That's going to be multifaceted. One of the things that I will tell you, we are, as documented in Miami Herald, one of the fastest growing cities. People are very interested in North Miami. I actually got a call from another educational institution, a very prominent one in South Florida, who's looking to perhaps move a clinic here. So people have serious interest in coming here. But the developer community is afraid. They have witnessed some of our approval processes become very protracted. And when you talk about someone who just spent, $5 million on a piece of land, another $1 million in engineers, architects, lawyers, doing renderings and plans, and then they get stalled through, our approval process be it, and this is no shade, if you will, on our planning commission or this board, but the approval process takes a long time, and every day for a developer means more money spent. And yes, they're in the business to make money. Some do have a social conscience and they focus on it, but their bottom line is to make money. And so every day, every minute it takes longer, it really it hurts their willingness, if you will, to make that investment and make that jump. We have a lot of great potential properties in this city. Myself, city attorney, and my deputy, we drive around all the time and we look at different parcels that we can see. If you open your eyes, you see a new hotel, you see a new mixed-use building, you see a new retail outlet. And I know that I'm constantly having conversations with various developer associates that I have. Hey, look at this property. This thing just came up. We just changed the zoning here. I would tell you, I might as well be a paid broker for Greenwich Studios, because I say their name every day to somebody because I know they want to sell. And with the overlay we just approved, that is a great opportunity for a mixed-use project in a great location, and an opportunity for us to get a number of mixed income and affordable units in our inventory as a city. So with that, I will open it to questions or comments from the council.
Sure, I'll rattle off a few things. This is spectacular. I'm really happy to see a lot of these things. I have additional thoughts of other things we might do. I love the Granny Flats idea. I think we should allow for tiny homes, and we should look at the minimum lot sizes and see whether we want to reduce those. Do we have a staff point person in mind, like we did with resiliency? Somebody who would be like the czar of affordable housing?
That would be something that I would need to work through with Marie in our housing division, housing department.
Okay. I
but
think
we can have some.
Sure. I mean, even if it's not somebody new necessarily, somebody who is here who could play that role. In the past, I agree with you that we need to create more of a sense of urgency around a lot of this and expedite things. We might, if the council is open to the idea, always have an affordable housing section of the agenda. It's something we did years ago with the CRA agendas, where we used to really zone in on, a particular issue on each month's agenda, and say, that way everybody knows there got to be something on that council agenda to talk about affordable housing, because otherwise we're going to look like we're not doing anything on affordable housing. And I know creating that little fire internally helps push things forward, so that when we look at the affordable housing, it's much like we do sort of with hurricane preparedness. Right. That came from my crazy mouth many years ago. Let's put hurricane preparedness on each month's agenda. Well, in theory, we could do the same thing with affordable housing and have a report each month on what we're doing. If there's legislation that we need to approve, those types of things. So I'm very excited to see some broad scope thing. Oh, and the other ideas I have is, at least in District 1, affordable housing ties into resiliency and sea level rise in a lot of different ways. The railroad corridor was built there because it's on some of the highest level land in the area.
That would be the marking line for low versus high, actually.
Okay, so in my thought, if we can create some housing opportunities, it could be mixed use, commercial, along that corridor, we're not only solving our affordability issues, we're also addressing some of the sea level rise issues.
You actually have some of that going through the mayor. When we did the SDTOD at 151st, we've now seen property transactions, and my understanding, some we're seeing some activity, so I'm expecting to see some plans being submitted in the very, very near future. That may be an opportunity for us to then engage with that developer, and like I said, hey, let's give you some CRA money or something to buy down some units or participate.
Okay. And then last thing, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I've seen some folks at the county start to refer to this situation as an affordability crisis, as getting away from the stigma term of affordable housing, because so many people have so we might incorporate the term affordability crisis more often, because you're right on the money. Like, it's stunning that a $1,700 a month one-bedroom apartment is considered to be affordable in today's world. I mean, that's the mortgage. Right, that's the thing. And you know, my mortgage on a 2-bedroom house with a pool is not much more than that. So, you know, anything we can do to sort of communicate to our citizens that affordability is more than just, you know, Section 8 housing, that it's got a deeper dive affordability crisis, which we really are in, could help. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I got.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Estimé.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Like you emphasized, I know that we are all on board. I know every time we meet, we talk about affordability, and I'm just really excited that my colleagues are definitely on board with that. So thanks. I look forward to all of the opportunities that we can address the affordability crisis.
Mr. Manager, you mentioned that the process is taking a little bit longer. We had this discussion with developers and different folks reaching out to us regarding the process. My question is, why is it taking longer, and what is it that your administration could do to speed that up? And is it a department issue or?
No, actually, it's not. The part I'm referring to is not the perm. You know, I know we've had some permitting
not that
issues.
process part. So which part?
It's the. All right, we're the development is coming to get allocation of units.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a particular area, so they have to go to planning commission first. You know, do a presentation. They get a lot of quite frankly, some pushback at that level. Then we deal with that. They try to address those with the public, and that's part of the process. Then they come to the council. Some cases that might be one or two meetings to get to a final, approval. When you look at I would say the basis of our ordinances and our laws, on their face, we say, okay, yes, you can build this building as of right at this location. And I'll give you a great example. The condominium project that we built, I think it is in District 3, 8840 Northeast 130th?
District 2.
That's District 2, okay. Right here, not too far from City Hall. That was a project where the developer came in. As of right, they could build 96 units. That was Representative Gellers represented those clients. They came in they could have built 96 units. They came and asked for 67. So what they were proffering was significantly lower than what they could have done. Obviously, there was a lot of community pushback, the immediate residents, and that's not the fault of this board at all, but how, the time it took for them to get to it. And now with that project, they've actually come to us because they still need to sell the condos and do stuff, and that project's probably going to be delayed a few months from being delivered. So just working through all the different pieces, including the permitting process, what we control, making sure if we can, we stamp that project plan or those plans as affordable project or a city-supported project or something, and get it through the approval process the as quickly as possible, even if we have our own expediters for those type of plans. And I know I needed to work with the building official on some conflicts in our state statutes, but doing things that will certainly get those projects out of the ground faster than they are.
And I appreciate that, but to what you just said, I guess the final step when it comes to us, that's when it comes to us. But I do understand, because that particular project, it must have taken at least a year almost back and forth. So on a policy standpoint, we need to talk about what can we do or what recommendation we could have either to expedite the process. We never gonna, expedite the residents. And that we get. But as far as it being from that commission in whatever weeks, and I don't know how that process is before it comes to us, because when it gets to us, that's when it gets to us. We don't control when it does get to us. We just here to vote on it. So just kind of look at what we could do to speed up that procedure, because I always thought it was an administrative process that it comes here, and then after the commission, staff has to review and do other things, and then finally comes to us. So whatever that could be, because I don't think none of us here control the agenda when it comes to us. So that's something that we need to work on.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I don't want to bring it up, but we had a project on 123rd over by Villa Maria that was strictly an affordable senior project. This council voted down for 3 years every step of the way. It took 3 years to get council to finally approve it. That was an affordable project that I had worked on for 3 years. It's finally going through. So there's a reason for not speeding up.
No other questions? A quick question. Do you know if they sent that application to the state, the one that we approved last time, and the deadline is today, about the 134 unit, the Atala?
Oh, yes, absolutely. They made it. I signed the purchase and sale agreement yesterday, and they were able to make their application. And we actually had to fill out a few forms for them. But yeah, it was submitted.
It was submitted. And do you know how many bonus units we have available in the city right now?
Defer to Tanya.
How many do we have left? Because when we're talking about the money, I understand we don't have a lot of money in a fund from the general fund or from the CRA, but if we can create that affordable housing trust fund and those bonus units, you need them, but at the same time you have to contribute to those. How many do we have available right now?
Initially you started out with 5,000.
Yeah.
You have about 4,500 remaining, just within the central city. But in the TOD district, you have another 2,000 that was recently created. Just for the TOD district.
2,000 units for that area.
For the STTOD.
Can you locate it, that area? Give us a quick idea of that.
That's around Northeast 151st Street.
That's
on
west
the
of
north side.
Biscayne.
Correct.
East
Within
of
your
Dixie
industrial
Highway.
district.
Yeah.
Correct.
In that industrial.
Correct.
There's
Like between
behind
151st,
that
143rd.
Audi. So okay.
Yeah, the square would be Biscayne to the east, 151 to the north, West Dixie to the west, 143rd to the south, and Biscayne to the east.
Yeah.
So that square.
I think we have 2,000 additional units available for that area.
Correct.
And that's something we.
And the thing with that is, again, to create an as of right piece, and then above that piece, the additional density that they would have to, again, if you want to go, again, I'm not holding, I'm being careful, yeah, but it's 20, but they want to go to 37 or to 30.
Yeah.
Those additional 10 stories cost,
$200,000
$200,000 a floor or something like that they would have to contribute into the trust fund. So,
Mr. Manager, go ahead, Mr. Mayor. Once you're done, I have another question.
Okay. You said we have 2,000 allocated for that TOD district.
Correct.
The rest
Correct. And outside of that,
Can you
you
s-
have
uh-huh.
5,000 for your central city as well as.
When you say the central city, you're talking about,
So your downtown area, we have a neighborhood redevelopment overlay district that's
in our roads
intended to be your central core
Mhm.
to create a sense of a downtown within North Miami.
Mhm.
There's 2,500 that has been set aside for that area, and then
Mhm.
you have what you call portable units that
Mhm.
you can allocate throughout the entire city, citywide.
that means
where
the rest
need
can
is.
be allocated
Correct.
as needed.
Yes, so
How
it's
mu-
market driven.
How many you said
It's
the rest?
2,500
2,500,
outside. So the idea is that it's market driven. If there's a need and a request, they can come before city council to get that allocation. It's how it's set up now.
Okay, that's when we have 5,000 units total available for the entire city, 2,500 for the TOD district, the other 20, another, how many for the
2,000
downtown?
So it's 2,500 within the downtown, and you've already shaved off like 200 outside of that.
Okay.
And then outside, there's 2,500 citywide.
Okay. Thank you very much. You said you have a question.
Yeah, well, that was my question in reference to the 5,000 where, because you stated it was centralized, but you say 2,500 is
Can be allocated
can be
throughout the
allocated,
city.
Yeah, they're portable units. is
Okay.
how you describe it.
Thank you very much. And do you have any question, any comments from the public? Guys? Yeah, but
Yes, William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I'd really like to extend my appreciation to our city manager for that presentation. Quite commendable, quite honest, quite insightful, and is sort of finally we're hearing from our the people who know best how difficult it is to get these projects off the ground. We've had the 5,000 dwelling unit count for many years now. You would think that if we had such great opportunity in terms of the dwelling units per acre or the heights, densities and heights, that would have been gone in no time. Yet we're still chipping away a little bit all this time. And no matter what the changes to the heights and the densities, that's not going away tomorrow either. There's plenty there. And that's a number from the past. That doesn't mean that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that number will not be expanded again as the city grows, and it's quite likely to be expected. When the city manager said that the developers are looking for a profit, sure, that's true. And if I might add, it's not just looking for some level of profit, but even more so, guarding against loss, guarding against going into something and just losing everything and having to walk away from the project. I'll try to do it as like almost a cartoon illustration. If you're allowed 10 floors, it may only be that last floor that actually shows profit, that actually makes a profit. I'll even say 2 floors. Let me do that. I'll be generous. 2 floors. And if they do that 10-story building and the 2 floors of profit, suppose it does get held up by our departments, by the timing, by the economy, by this or that, something they come across in the site condition, and they lose half of it, makes it much more difficult. So all they now have is 10% of that entire project left. However, if it was a 20-story project, they might have 4 units to use. And if they got burned off and they lost one of those, they'd at least have 3 levels of profit, and so on and so on. So there's an economy of scale that we really need to consider. And we really need to, I think, inflate, sort of upzone the entire city and create these opportunities to get something started, because we keep on suffocating ourselves. It's not like anybody's knocking down the door and all of a sudden building this giant mega structures across our city. It's just not happening. But we need to just spark some people to take that first step where they're not going to be losing everything, where they have a level of comfort at some point. In terms of, so there's an economy of scale with the larger projects. How do we implement that on these smaller projects, on a single family, a duplex or a quadplex? One possibility might be, and city manager would have to verify this, is possibly to create more of a prototype that is very acceptable and likable, and that gets pre-designed, it gets pre-approved, and therefore you don't have to go through starting from square one throughout. It then gets implemented by multiple projects by a developer. You know you can do this all the way around, and you don't have to burn out. Thank you.
Yes.
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125 Street in Sunkist Grove. I think the project is very short-sighted in that there is no strategy for an ecology-friendly construction, meaning the use of solar, water, and wind power. All these developments that are being constructed, there should be a mandate that they be, I'm using the term ecology friendly. I'm not an expert like many of you, but that they use solar power, that should be a demand for every one of these new developments, that they be ecology friendly, because the rentals are going to be high. All of these people are going to need electricity, water, all of these basic needs. This needs to be incorporated, a fundamental incorporation in this affordable housing project. Ecology, solar, wind, and water power. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see people are happy. The maintenance costs more than FPL. We got to be able to afford the maintenance of solar panel. We don't just, we clap and it's expensive. That's when we're not talking about affordable. The maintenance. I understand the overall, but you got to be able to take care of the maintenance of the solar panel. That's another story.
Jesus.
It's good to say, but when you're talking about the maintenance, it's...
What? She mean environmental? She say ecology,
It's
right?
friendly, but when we're talking about solar power, anybody can put solar on the house right now. But the cost and the maintenance, that's the problem. Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed. It's not public hearing, it's just comments. We're done with that. Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion on the consent agenda, please?
So move.
I have just a correction that I'd like to make.
Yes.
Online, there's on tab C, it's implying that it's a fundraiser when it's not. Just want to make sure that that's corrected. Right, so there's, in the packet, if you look at the packet, the attached packet, I just want to make sure that that's corrected on the record. That's my only objection to that.
On tab C?
Yes. It's suggesting.
It's the wrong wrong attachment here.
Right,
Yes.
it's suggesting that it's
Yeah.
a fundraiser when it's not. It's a resolution for the Florida City Week.
It's the I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll correct it.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. We have a sec. Do we have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the consent agenda. The motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Keys. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab D, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement with Tyler Technologies, Inc. as the sole source manufacturer of Tyler Software Systems in accordance with Section 7-143 of the City Code of Ordinances to provide the police department with maintenance and support services for its computer-aided dispatch CAD, mobile reporting, and records management software at a cost not to exceed $535,142, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab D.
Thank you very much. Can I hear a motion on tab D?
So move.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Second for discussion. Public hearing is now open on tab D. They don't have to. Public hearing is open on tab D. Public hearing is now closed. Do you have any question on the dash? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'd like for him to explain to me what is the item.
Go ahead.
All right, good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director. The item that you have before you under tab D simply represents staff's request for your approval of a 3-year renewal with Tyler Technologies to provide continuing software maintenance and support services for the North Miami Police Department's computer-aided dispatch, otherwise referred to as CAD system, mobile reporting, and records management system for a total cost not to exceed $535,142. This Tyler Technology CAD system is a easy-to-use enterprise solution that's designed to streamline dispatch activity. It's a fully integrated with GIS mapping, mobile computing, and records management capabilities. It's designed to assist public safety agencies to carry out their duties as efficiently as possible. The city's police department has been using this system since approximately 2008. So in order to facilitate the continuation of effective operation, dispatching of services, which is required by state and federal agencies, staff is requesting your approval of this continuing services for the Tyler Technologies system. Here with me tonight in support of the item is our police chief, Mr. Larry Juriga, in the event you have any questions regarding the use of this software system.
Go ahead.
Real quick. I'm sorry, real quick. Is this something that's, two questions. Is this something that's piggyback? I don't have an issue with the item, but I just want to make sure that we have the lines, some stuff checked.
No, it is not a piggyback.
Okay, and since we've been using it since 2008, has it been open to others? Have we explored others, or this is it? We feel comfortable with these folks, so we go on with this.
No, this is the only company that can provide it. This is our integrated system.
Mhm.
So our financial system, their CAD system, all of this is provided by a company called Tyler. So we have to get our maintenance from them. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
We changed the whole system.
The whole company. Okay.
Thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. Madam Clerk.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab D. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estime Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab E, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving the city administration's competitive selection of National Concrete and Paving LLC as the lowest responsible contractor to furnish materials, equipment, tools, machinery, supervision, expertise, and services required for the installation of a traffic circle at Northeast 10th Avenue and Northeast 131st Street. Further authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement for the installation of a traffic circle at the selected location in the amount not to exceed $260,138. In accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in invitation for bid number 72-18-19, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab E.
Go ahead. To the
Once again, for the record, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director. The item you have before you simply represents the results of solicitation number 72-18-19, which was issued by the Purchasing Department to request bids from qualified and experienced contractors for the traffic circle project to be located at Northeast 10th Avenue and Northeast 131st Street. This is staff's recommendation to award the contract to National Concrete Paving LLC as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder in an amount not to exceed $260,138 and for an estimated project duration of 120 days. As reflected in the council report that was submitted in support of the item, the city issued this solicitation on August 12th and shortly thereafter received 7 proposals in response to this bid. A tabulation of all the bids reflecting the prices submitted by each of the firms is included on the second page of your council report. Based on staff's review and evaluation of the submitted bids, experience, qualifications of each firm, National Concrete was deemed to be the lowest responsible bidder and therefore is being recommended for award of this contract. The scope of work for the project includes, but it's not limited to, roadway widening, reconstruction, installation of catch basins and stormwater system, concrete driveways and sidewalks, curb and gutter, new landscape and irrigation, as well as lighting at the traffic circle. Here with me in support of this item is our city's Public Works Director, Mr. Whistler Pierre Lewis, and also the project engineer, Mr. Atkin Osadin, in the event that you have any questions regarding the project itself. And this concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, we'll be glad to take them. Thank you.
Have any questions? We want to open it for public hearing first. Mr. Anise, your name and address, please.
You knew I was going to talk about this. Richard Anise, 13030 Northeast 10th Avenue. If anybody thinks this is a 126 process, I was just cleaning out some emails the other day from September of 2014. And I think at that time the email was that the county had already approved this. That was 5 years ago. Half of you weren't here when we started this request. Aleem was still the city manager. Duke was the only one, I think, on that side of the table there. He actually brought the project to the county. I guess we should be thankful that we've built the force main in the meantime, and that TECO moved their gas line from the east side of the road to the swale on the west side. The county guy that was out there checking all the lines and everything said this is a very difficult corner. I don't know why the county's asking for more drainage than they would have on 123rd Street and 10th. That's why when I asked for this project to be done 5-6 years ago, I think we talked about $110,000. I even said that was too much at that time. But it's not my fault that the county's asking for more money. We need to get this done. I mean, it was supposed to be done last month, I think, originally. And then, the original project finish was last year. Then it got moved to September. Hopefully, we'll finally see the end of this. I know I'm not going to see another. I thought in my lifetime I'd be able to play racquetball again at Cagney Park, but that's never going to happen. But I'd like at least to get this thing finished before I die or move. So please get this done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed.
Yeah, I have questions, please.
Yes.
Okay. Through the mayor, Mr. Pierre Louis, you sent me something. I could not open it. I have a lot of questions on this project. One, the price is exorbitant. I guess there's piping, plumbing, drainage. I'm hoping we have decent drainage. And I've been wanting to move this ahead, but I really want to see the construction of this circle. The last circle was awful, very disappointed with it. I'm not looking for a solid concrete circle with one non-native tree in the middle. We're doing this, we need native plants, we need sustainable plants going forward, and I haven't been given the first picture of what we're looking at. So, I mean, I don't have a problem if you're saying this is what it's gonna take to do all the draining, fine, but I wanna see what this project's gonna look like, because the last project, I'm crushed. And I can't ask you to tear it up, all the concrete and a palm tree. That's not what I want for my district. I know I think it's partially in your district?
No.
It's all in mine? Yeah. So, I want something sustainable, I want something nice. You're talking about irrigation and lighting, that's all nice, but we need sustainable, and I haven't seen pictures or what we're talking about. I can't micromanage your plumbing and your drainage, but I can have a say in, what you're getting ready to put in there, unless the other council just wants to vote for it.
You done?
I'm done.
Vice Mayor, will definitely supporting whatever direction you like to go in your district. I also have some issues, not regarding the project itself, but all these traffic circles. The price is going up. Even when I think a couple months ago we had some discussion, it was $100,000. And I was like, can we see what we could do if other cities does it wrong? But to the residents' point, I had one that was approved since 2009, and it's still not up. And that's 120, Mr. Sorry, and 10th Avenue. The residents is constantly emailing. We had the change, so that's another thing since 2009. So I was not even near this council, but the price is increasingly going up. So why is that?
The price goes up because of a variety of reasons. You have inflation, you have the cost of materials, you have requests or requirements from the county, for example, drainage stipulations. Those are all factors that would increase the cost of the traffic circles.
And the other, Mr. Manager, is the maintenance of these traffic circle. They look horrible, especially on my end. Whatever that thing that they have, it's not landscaping. I don't know what it is. Is that native something? What is that?
I do not know the specific
Okay,
species.
I would stop right there. I would ask if tomorrow you and the manager could drive around and know what exactly that we put that the residents are complaining. So as the director of public works, he doesn't even know. I wouldn't know because I'm not even a flower expert, but I know it looks ugly. And we had talked about it. So please see if we could get that fixed as soon as possible. Thank you.
So if we approve this tonight, we're just approving that they're the lowest bidder, is that correct?
We are approving a contract with them to proceed with construction.
Okay, before they proceed with construction, could we get, what is it that you're looking for?
Can we get
Design?
plans, pictures
Plans
to
or-
see, bring it back to us and not just put a concrete
Oh, it's there.
glob on the middle of the street?
Can we, Councilor
sorry?
Estimate, are you done?
No, I'm not.
Okay, what is your
Councilwoman
question?
Keys was,
You have the floor.
okay. Right, so are you saying that there are plans here? Because I didn't see any plans.
There's plans in the packet, but I think you guys would like to have more
Oh.
detail on the landscaping, and we certainly can bring that back. That's not an issue.
Okay.
And the construction and the amount of concrete?
Are you looking?
I mean,
you're-
it's
we
been
done?
designed already.
Wait, okay.
Yeah, the design is already complete, correct?
Yeah, the design has already been completed and permitted, and also it's been permitted per standards. You have to have certain turning radiuses, you have to have certain dimensions for the circle in order for it to be effective.
Is it in the package?
That's,
Yes, the drawings
can
are
you,
included.
can we do in one, please?
Okay.
That's Councilwoman
Go ahead.
Estimate. Are you okay done?
So, okay, so I just want to make sure again, I'm asking, so if we approve this tonight, can we have?
You're not gonna, if you approve it tonight, you're not reapproving it. However, if you want to have a say or a review of the landscaping and stuff, we'll bring it back. Because we
Okay.
need to give the contractor the notice to proceed so they can start with their process, so we can get this done.
Okay, so that,
But we can, like I said, we can, before we get to that point, we can bring back, here are the plantings, here's this, that, and the third, so.
all right, thank you.
All right.
Are you done? You done?
Okay, So
Councilwoman
there,
Key.
so there
Mhm.
is a picture in there with a circle and some gray. So that's my picture. That's what you're showing us, Mr. Attorney? Is that the one, the design?
Looking at the entire design.
I mean, the design.
It's in the pack, beginning on page.
That's the standard from the county pictures on the way we don't have a design right now
Page
for
Well,
that.
we do, on page 108.
Starts on page 101, going to page 118, 113, 101 to 113 of your package.
You don't have anything to show? Where's the company that's gonna do it? Where's the company? Can we have a plan, a design? Do we have that?
So how much?
We are spending $260,000. Nobody wanna say not.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
May I? It sounds to me, if I'm interpreting what the councilwoman is saying, is what we have done in the past, no good, no bueno anymore. Do something totally different. And if that means that we have to
Can we?
I'm hearing the whole
Can we table
thing.
the item until
I mean,
we bring it back?
Yes.
Well, I can't tell how much concrete's there. I see two concentric circles and a couple squares, and I mean, I had asked to, see what exactly was going on.
And the other question, Councilwoman Keys.
And I don't want to hold up, I don't want to hold up this project. I don't want to go back to square one.
So-
We just need to do better than what.
Give me a second,
Yes, sir.
sir. Go ahead, Carol.
Go
We're
ahead.
gonna come. You done?
Who knows?
Okay, we are spending $260,000 for that traffic circle. Besides, I think a few months ago, we spent how much? It was,
Little bit more, over 160, 170. It's
100
$90,000 more because this project is in.
There's no one there in showing me why it's more
Ye-
than the
yes, if
previous
you-
one, and
Yes, I will if you allow me. So this is going to be a regular traffic circle that we got the approval from Miami-Dade County. One of the reasons that this circle is higher priced than the other ones because this is in Miami-Dade County's right-of-way. And we went to the permitting stage 3-4 times. It took us about 8-9 times.
those are the
And-
information
yes.
that we need.
And
It seems like we don't
And
have
this
the
is-
information. They're
and
right
this is,
there.
And this is the letter that if you can see it, that Miami-Dade County basically requires us to add 100 feet pipe in both sites. That's adding about $50,000 more. And also they ask us to regrade the whole area by the circle area. This is the additional cost that you can see. So I prepared regrading the area and also additional drainage and also the driveways approaches that they want us to change. So that's why the price is higher because that's Miami-Dade County's right away. And we asked to have a native plan. So I worked with Kimley Horn, went to visit Miami-Dade County at least 4 or 5 times with our city managers and public works directors support. And we talked to, we tried to talk to their public works director to add a native plan, but they didn't allow us to do anything else than palm tree. So I know that you usually don't like palm trees. I try so hard, and
They're not
we even-
native. We have laws and ordinances, excuse me.
yeah, and
And
that's
are they friendly? Florida friendly?
yes.
Okay.
What is it?
It's
We'll
either
go
na-
through this, we'll
Can
go
we
for-
for the state.
No,
item? Yeah,
let's go ahead. It looks okay, but I want to know what the landscaping is. The Phoenix Sylvester, we're talking of, so for 260.
Because you put native plant in Keystone, they asked you to remove it, and we had to remove
So
it.
it's still
And if
supposed to be replaced with native. So the Phoenix Sylvestris, is that a native plant?
I believe I'm not 100% sure about the plants that.
And
in
also-
that-
I think about the plants, you can have a
Okay.
meeting with
Well,
with.
when it comes to plant, I just wanted to let you know that we have additional optional services. We definitely can change a couple
sit
things.
down with you and
We
discuss
also
that.
have we have a $260,000
We have
traffic
irrigation.
circle and a 4-foot tree.
Well, correct, because what happened is that when the tree is larger, because we are blocking the traffic, so Miami-Dade County traffic engineer, they are great friends, but they don't allow us to have larger trees. That's one of the reasons, or bigger trees, but they have standards that they want us to follow. That's why, unfortunately. Otherwise, we would love to do more things in there.
Are you done, Kat?
I'm ready to go forward. I don't want to stop
Please
this.
make a motion.
And we're not done with the questions.
Did
If
Mr.
you're
Quirk,
okay
you
with.
had something to add?
It's just, it is a Florida friendly. It's not a native, but it is a Florida friendly.
I'd make a motion that we
Yeah.
continue with
I have a
this.
quick question before.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead with your motion.
Well,
and-
Motion to go ahead and approve this, but I want the planting and the actual what's going in the middle of the concrete to come back to us for approval.
What do you mean, for the size or
No, for the
the
planting
type
that's
of
going in there,
plants?
yeah.
But
And-
you're
and we
still
can-
gonna have one little circle of plants.
I can't really tell from the picture if that's a little circle or is that.
You're
is
gonna have
it
the
more-
same thing as 10th Avenue by Villa
It
Maria.
is the similar one, but we also have optional services funds, so we can do changes.
You can make less concrete?
We can do
Okay.
that.
But the price gonna
I mean,
change.
I want to go ahead and get them to start building, you have the permitting, but I would like the actual design of it to come
Right,
back.
just wanted to let you know that also that we are working with an FPNL to relocate the poles, so I'm working on that one.
That's
as
why I
well.
caused that month.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. I'd like to
Right.
start, but I'd like the design to come back.
Right, so yeah.
Better pictures, so, maybe show something
Thank you.
similar. I mean, if it's the same
That's the
concrete,
problem,
too
that
much.
too.
Can I
Thank you.
clarify that request? When you say you want the design to come back?
No.
That's what
If you want the
just said.
design, the whole project, you
See what
have
it's
to
gonna
do.
look. If it's gonna
Okay,
look like
that's
10th Avenue, that's horrible.
okay. That's when we got to
Can
bring
we
it
motion to
back.
continue
Continue
this
it, yes.
If you say design, that's
Mr. Mayor,
Okay, go ahead.
motion to continue this until our November 12th. city
Second.
okay. Madam Clerk.
And you guys will meet with Vice Mayor too. And by the way, Mr. Manager, for the record, I like palm trees.
I love them.
You get all,
But
you
you
get all.
Okay. Can we move and
Yes.
can continue that?
Um,
But the only question I was gonna ask, we approved where the money is coming from, Mr. Manager. Where the money is coming from? It was in the budget,
Yes,
right?
it's in transportation fund.
It's
Transportation fund.
okay.
Penny-
How many traffic circle do we have in the budget for this year? Do you have that from the transportation fund?
That I'll have to defer to.
Nobody knows.
That's the last one that we're building.
Huh?
That's the last one we're building for this year.
I understand, but we had three for the same area for the past 12 months, and if we're looking at a study from crash and accidents, I have other area in the city that needed more. Like there is like by Sunkist Grove, the resident been asking for that traffic circle for years and years. That one had more accident than that one that the resident in the area don't want to. I don't why we approved 3 in 1 year, and those people been waiting for over 5-6 years. They cannot have a traffic circle done.
Mr. Mayor, the one that that you're referring to on the west side of the city was turned down by the county. They told us we couldn't do it. So
Okay,
Some
that's the
of them have to
question.
get-
Yeah, but
that's-
you got to let them know that we cannot build
Yes.
another traffic circle on the west side of the city, like by Sun. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to make this fundamental statement. Do you understand the county approves all
We understand
all
that.
traffic calming devices?
We understand
so
that.
we are
But we
subject
just
to
want to
their-
make sure, we're making sure that
Okay.
the residents know that, and the county don't want us to put any more traffic circle on the west side because we have too many already. Okay. Carol, you wanna, okay, we already have a motion on the floor to table this item until the next council meeting. Madam Clerk.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to continue the item at tab E until the November 12th council meeting. The motion was seconded by Councilman Desilme. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab F, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute an off-system construction and maintenance agreement between the city of North Miami and the Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT. And substantially the attached form designating and setting forth the responsibilities of each party with regards to FDOT project number 439976, State Road 909, West Dixie Highway from Northeast 119th Street to Northeast 124th Street, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. Tab F.
Do you have a presentation? Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Pierre Lewis, Public Works Director. Staff is requesting that the mayor and city council authorize the city manager to execute an agreement between the city of North Miami and FDOT, designating responsibilities for each party for work being done by FDOT on Northeast 124th Street. FDOT has completed the design of improvements, or is planning to complete design of improvements on West Dixie Highway, a state facility at the intersection of Northeast 124th Street, which is a city-owned roadway. The improvements to the stormwater system are beneficial to the city by improving drainage at the intersection. Parts of the improvements paid for and constructed by FDOT contractors are in the city right-of-way. As such, The city will undertake maintenance of said improvements by entering into the attached off-site construction and maintenance agreement.
You said you don't have pictures, nothing to show what we
Move
are
to continue
doing?
the item.
The two drawings are included in.
Second,
Motion is there to move- continue
there's
the
no
item.
picture, no
Second.
nothing. We don't know what we are approving. Just thank you very much.
Second.
Next,
Do we-
Madam
we have a
Clerk.
vote?
Madam Clerk,
Vanessa?
can
There's drawings in the item, by the way.
yeah, but we don't know what we are voting. We
But
don't
you-
know what
you're-
we're
you're-
gonna do on
you're-
124th Street.
You're approving an
Are we
agreement.
open 124th Street for both
But
east
that's not-
west?
That's not the subject of
From
this
where
item.
to where? It's like we don't know what it is. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to move to continue the item at tab F until the next council meeting. The motion was seconded by Councilman Desame. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Item passes with a 4-1 vote. Tab G, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a professional services agreement in substantially the attached form between the city of North Miami and Risk Management Associates, Inc., doing business as public risk insurance advisors to provide the city with police professional liability insurance coverage at a cost not to exceed $275,190, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab G.
Joe Roglieri, Personnel Director, on behalf of Karen Muir. Karen did a lot of work on this item. However, she is the current president of the Public Risk Management Association. They had a meeting and she couldn't make it back, so I'm covering on her behalf. This is police liability insurance. We need to have it. On July 12th, this council authorized public risk insurance advisors to do an RFP, to solicit bids, to provide this insurance coverage. They did that. This firm is the only bidder. It's our current provider. We recommend approval. We do need this insurance.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is now closed.
Quick question.
Yes.
So they were the only one who responded? Is that one of the type that this is only specialized to them only?
As part of the process, our broker does the solicitation, if you will. They did reach out to 6 different providers. This was the only one that we actually got a policy offering from. I would tell you the market's been tough. We've had a few claims, if you will, associated with our police-involved shooting a few years ago. That I think you guys have all dealt with the cases in one shape or way or the form. So this was the offer that we got. So we're moving forward, and it does meet our our commercial reasonableness test and the like. So.
Okay, because I guess the market, the insurance market summary, so there's 3 actually they got information on, and this is the lowest one?
Yes.
Okay.
And they do have, they'll speak to different insurance companies directly to see if they can get an actual
So
bid.
3 of them did reply, and then this one is the lowest. Not only one of them reply.
No, according to the item, this is the only actual official
Oh, that
offer.
got quoted.
Yes.
So what is the indication? What does that mean? That this just research?
When you say is research.
I mean, how did they get that indication from those 2, from Indian Harbor and IAG?
Just a verbal conversation.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, verbal conversation, sir.
Okay, so, but they didn't.
They did not give us a
actual quote. Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, can do roll call. Can I have your motion on the item?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab G. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Estime Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab H is a quasi-judicial item. Proposed resolution quasi-judicial of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving an amendment to the previously approved Johnson & Wales University Master Campus Development Plan in accordance with the requirements set forth in City Administrative Regulation number 09-18, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes. If you're going to give testimony today on the case, please rise and raise your right hand as I issue the oath.
Oh my God.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do.
I do.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you then.
That's it. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you very
Mr. Mayor, I'd
much.
move approval.
Can I hear a second? I have a second on the item. Public hearing is now open. We have.
We don't know what we're speaking on if they don't tell us what it's
Webby,
all
you
about.
didn't-
It was
Webby, you didn't take
publicized
the oath. McKenna
days
was out.
before. That's not
I've
true.
made
We
a
only have
motion
2
to
people.
approve.
What?
Good thing
I don't understand what she's saying. Yes, go. Eh?
Public hearing is open. Mr. Mayor, is public hearing open for anybody who wishes to speak?
Public hearing is open on the item. We have only two people can speak.
Webby, you didn't take the oath.
You
so
didn't
can't
take
do
the.
it.
No.
No, it was
You
only
weren't
2.
speaking in.
I raised my hand.
Madam Clerk, you have to. Okay, only 2 people. Do we have public hearing?
All I wanted to say, I'd like to hear what they're talking before we can speak, because I don't.
It was publicized before. Thank you very much. Public hearing is open on the item.
On things like this, you guys get the benefit of the doubt of the breakdown after we speak, then you get to openly hear it, and then you speak about it. I think maybe we should change around it a little bit. I know that it is publicly available. We try to go through the 235 pages as well on our off times and try to go through it. I do think it looks like a good plan, the way that they're executed, but like the gentleman said, poor guy, he wasn't standing up, so he could speak up. I saw, just so you guys know, if you want to jump up too, 9-story building is going to go up for them to have student housing. They're going to relocate their soccer lot. They're going to make it more walkable. They're adding a greenhouse so that the culinary department has a source, just like Miami-Dade campus does with their culinary school. And overall, this is a great thing that maybe we should follow as an example for the rest of our city and make it walkable. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. The reason I stood and took the oath was basically because I believe I'll be in support of this item, but I really wanted to hear their presentation. I was reserving that for, should there be something, a presentation that was adverse to our interests, then I would have spoken up in detail on that. But, so I will just basically hold my comment at this time and do request that the items get a little bit more elaborated on in future sessions. Thank you.
Thank you
In
very
advance of
much.
public comment.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed. Do you have any question on the diet?
I would like to just ask, through the mayor, to Johnson & Wales, just a question really on the
A
side.
question, sir.
Who's
Who's going to answer for me?
I'd like to know the status. I know you're planning on putting a soccer field there. I know part of that is swale, but that area on, I guess it's 126th Street
Yes,
is
ma'am.
awful. It's really awful. The swale is awful. My residents complain regularly. When are you planning to build your soccer field? And are you planning on doing anything to stop the people from parking there or just fixing up the swale? Because it's either rock and rubble or a lake.
Residents where? That's not the commercial. The FIA? Go ahead.
May I
I
address?
know we've discussed it, but I want to know their intention.
Well,
Oh.
it's
the swell belongs to the city. I believe I shared with you a
Plan,
parking
yes.
plan
Mhm.
to improve the swell, where we'd actually put on-street parking. So, and I actually talked to Dr. Rice about the same matter, and how we would work in concert with each other on
You're
that.
talking about next to EVOs, that,
Yes, all
that's
the way
swell?
from
That belong to the
EVOs
city, not
Yeah,
to
that belongs to the
yeah.
city, yeah.
But do we have to wait, I'm just asking, do we have to wait for the soccer field? Are we gonna do the parking and then the soccer field? And I just wanna know what your timing is on the soccer field.
The soccer field, our intention is to build a soccer field as soon as we can get it funded. And at this point, my name is Larry Rice, campus president at Johnson Wales University, 1701 Northeast 127th Street, North Miami.
And I mean, I know I've had conversations with you, Mr. Manager, but we have a lot of residents that are just really unhappy with that, and I get constant complaints, so I'm bringing it up in public so they can hear that it's not a secret. Are we gonna do parking before the soccer field, or do we have to wait?
From my perspective in working with Public Works, it's something that we can do. We just need to identify available
Money,
funding
if we have
to do
money
it.
for
Yeah,
that.
Correct.
And enforcement, we're not enforcing parking, so parking is allowed,
Is it swell
but
on a commercial?
We could, so we do have I believe we do have no parking signs on that swell currently.
But we're not
However,
enforcing.
we've not ticketed, well, actually, I shouldn't say, we have ticketed some in the past, but not on any consistent basis. That's true.
Yeah, my husband.
But this has nothing to do with them.
No.
The parking. Okay.
So, I mean, so there's no timeline of what we're gonna do to fix up that area.
If we have money, do we have money in the budget where the money budgeted?
Again, I had Public Works already work on, and they have prepared 2 design concepts for us. They already put them out. We will get it priced out, and I will report back to the council the next meeting.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
The only reason we haven't fixed that is because of the Volvo that disappeared. If they were gonna build across the street, all those things was gonna include in that. Yes. go
I
ahead.
just want to say, President Rice and Johnson Wales University, I'm incredibly proud to have you as, and most of your campuses in my district, District 1. I've had stitches in what's one of now your, restaurant training areas. To see what you've done with the facility that could have still been abandoned to this day had you not moved in 25 years ago. We could have a huge homeless vagrant problem because the shell of the old North Miami Hospital could still be standing there. You've come in and you've rehabbed old apartment buildings that were junky, and you've created a beautiful campus for your students with modern, updated living for your students. The students spend money, whether it's at Alaska Coffee House or Publix or any of the other number of businesses in the area. You've really made the area a jewel. I'm thrilled to see that you're going to continue to plan of upgrading and modernizing and providing new amenities for your students. So there was a reason why I quickly jumped in and said I motion approval. This is a no-brainer to me. Thank you for all you're doing.
Second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and we have a second. Madam Clerk.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the item at tab H. The motion was seconded originally by Councilman Desome. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Desome?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Keys?
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote? The item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab I, discussion item regarding storage facilities within the city.
And the sponsor, it's Marie-Estime Irvin. Do you have any?
Thank you, sir. I'd like to bring this topic up. I noticed that we've had a lot of public storage facilities coming up in our city, and I would actually like to direct, I guess, the city manager, city attorney to come up to have limitations or to come up with limitations for the storage facilities that are popping up. So that's the direction that I,
What do you propose?
for now, I definitely would propose a moratorium until we can come up with the language, the proper ordinance to.
I think I talked to the city attorney and this morning about that. He said it's not them, it's for us to give them direction on, right?
So the reason we've had this discussion with Councilwoman, the reason we asked that she come before you and have a discussion among the council members is because this item has come up before. We've had multiple discussions about it. There's been multiple discussions at the Planning Commission. Planning Commission, my understanding is they had a vigorous debate about this, had all sorts of ideas, and the only thing that came out of the Planning Commission was a ban on storage units on 125th Street. Because it came out of the Planning Commission, we could probably bring an ordinance today or next meeting that says, do you want to ban storage units on 125th Street, if that's the extent of what you want to do. My understanding from talking to various members of the council, I don't think that is the extent of what you want to do. I know that there's other, we've had some discussions. I think there's something that's going to Planning Commission that's going to perhaps limit storage units on certain corridors, but that may not be the limit of what you want to do. So we really need to hear from you also. We have a comprehensive ordinance that comes to you that you likely to vote on. Otherwise, it's going to be piecemeal, and you'll have an ordinance that just, as we have right now with the Planning Commission, we'll have a recommendation to just ban it on 125th Street. And if that's what you want, then we can do that. If not, then please give us some guidance.
Right, so what I'm recommending to this body is that it's banned throughout the city, so not just 125th Street, especially if we're trying to.
You can't ban the use,
anywhere.
but you can, you can tell us what corridors, you can give us some guidance. I think the mayor.
You don't want it in your district?
No, I'd rather use that for affordable housing. to address
Okay,
affordable
there is a
housing
quick,
crisis.
there is a simple language that we can use.
Some
Let me
suggestions.
tell you, sir, and tell me if it's no. We can say no storage facilities in our major corridor or within prime time real estate in the city. We can use that language to stop. Let's say you have a prime location in the city or a prime real estate location. You cannot build up front. Maybe if it's in the back of that prime real estate, we may be okay, but if we can ban storage in a major corridor and on prime real estate location throughout the city, we can come up with a language like that and instead of say ban storage throughout the city.
Would you
Yes,
allow me
ma'am.
to hear what what Tanya has to say, please?
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Okay.
Councilman Desilme, you have some.
Yeah, Ms. Sejour, do we have it in our area on 7th? It was taken out,
Storage.
right? Storage.
You have a prohibition in Chinatown. So the code limits any new storage facilities.
Okay.
From being
That's the
created, but there's
one.
an existing.
Yeah, that one, I wish that we could close it down, but we can't. The one on 133rd Street.
Wait a minute. You cannot build a storage inside the Chinatown.
There's a prohibition on the new storage, self-storage being created in the Chinatown district. It's in your code.
Okay.
correct.
We cannot do
But the
that.
existing stays.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I know. I wish we could close that one. Thank you.
Okay.
So I
Go ahead.
support your stuff.
Council Estimate.
Yes.
What do you want to see?
I would like, I think we have enough. We have it on the west side, we have it in central, we have it throughout the city. And if we are very serious about addressing the affordable housing crisis, I'm really proposing that we limit, that we actually stop it, whatever the legal term is, to stop
And
it
the
throughout
city
the
attorney
entire
said we
city.
cannot ban storage facilities
What is the
throughout
best
the
way?
city. You just need a technical language. You're not gonna say you ban that, but the language gonna show that you don't want that in our prime location.
Right, if I might, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I think the official language would be, we have to allow the business.
Yeah.
The
Right.
state of Florida has said that storage facilities is legal.
Yeah.
We can't ban the use, but
But
we
the
can
area.
limit the
Limit.
district. For instance, the
Mhm.
industrial district, we could say the only place a strip club, I'm sorry, The only place, I've had this debate before. The only place that a business use that we might not like so much can go is the industrial district, but as long as
Yeah.
we provide for it, marijuana sales. It's funny how history repeats. As long as we allow for it somewhere,
Yeah.
we're okay.
Industrial.
So
And-
that's, so.
Or let's see, we
if I
prevent
can
that
offer-
from happening,
So
you know. Go ahead.
I'll change my language. Can we please come with an ordinance that will, that would put a distance?
Yes.
Of,
distance
of
separation
a distance
is an
separation of where those can be, please.
Correct.
Can we
Should
agree
I
on
promise
that?
to-
Just a quick question. If you put a distance separation, you can, what about now you put 2,000 or 5,000 and you end up getting another 5, 10 storage, what you going to say now? If we put some language said in our prime time real estate location, that's when people cannot build on 135th, but behind 135th, behind prime time development, maybe behind you can put a small storage. If you cannot bend that throughout the city. It's the
Mr.
same
Mayor-
thing for liquor stores.
So if I could respond, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
So the recommendation from staff is that you consider a distance separation. That separation would be in relation to either single-family districts or along your major corridor. And we do have the data in office that we could put it in GIS and determine with that, say, for instance, 1,500 feet separation, if there would even be a possibility of those storage facilities being located in particular areas of the city. So we can do a test run of the ordinance before it comes before you, so we will know definitively where those pockets exist or if they can even be created in certain commercial districts.
Okay.
So
before
there's
you
no
put,
guesswork to it.
before you
Correct.
put the ordinance
Once we
together,
come up
you
with a
can,
number, we can put that in.
or
do a
you,
simulation.
Mr. City Attorney, what do you think about that? Because
We have to figure out what distance we're talking about. The staff recommendation that I saw was a distance requirement from residential. And if you have a distance requirement from residential, there's probably no place in the city you'd be able to put a storage unit.
There you go. That's use
that's
that
the
one.
language. We just need
which
the
would
language.
which would probably be
That the same
illegal.
thing is not illegal. The same thing we did with, if you said liquor store, we cannot put a liquor store within 2,000 from a school. That means there is no place in the city
Yeah, but
that
that-
you can put it, but it's not banned.
Yeah, but that won't stand
Yeah, that's
up
not gonna stand up in court,
I
sir.
saw the same thing happen with places where sexual offenders can live, and in the end, the rights of the sexual offenders won out over cities trying to push them out by doing that large distance from schools. Like 500,000 feet, you probably get away with. 3,000 feet, you probably not. get away with.
Essentially, what you're doing is it's a de facto ban without calling it a ban. If you say it's some certain distance from residential, but I think from hearing what the discussion is, I think the major corridors are pretty much off limit.
In the prime real estate
It sounds like you're
location.
okay with commercial as long as it's not in a prime location.
No.
You're
Yeah.
also okay
not.
with commercial. I'm sorry. You're also okay with the industrial.
Industrial,
areas.
yes. Can we do that?
What do you mean, okay? There is
That you
district
would
where we
allow
don't
it-
have industrial.
That's
It's
fine,
gonna
then
be
they
in
don't get
one
none.
lo-
Right. There's not many.
It's
Right.
going, we
But-
don't have that many industrial.
I don't know if the strip club ban still stands, but that's how we as a city limited strip clubs for decades, was putting them in
Correct.
our
It's a
industrial
1,500
district.
feet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I support, well, I do have a little industrial,
Booby trap is across the street.
right?
Not zoned.
There is a nice
it is
language that,
permitted.
I see nobody pay attention to the language if we put prime location or prime real estate
No, but what we
location
do
throughout
is
the
define
city.
that.
Exactly. You're gonna
No.
define that.
Can we let staff come up with some suggestions, come
Yeah.
back to us?
Again, based
No,
on the
they said
discussion,
they've been-
based on the discussion you just had, I think we have an idea now where we need to go.
But the
Okay.
idea is,
Okay.
what is the idea? Limit them, put them in,
And they must all strip.
Unincorporated day.
What's a
yes,
prime-
unincorporated day, that's,
What's a prime area? There's
Yeah.
no
You'd have to
definition of
define
prime
it.
Just say
area.
that they're allowed
Why
in
do you
the
say there is
industrial
prime
district.
real estate location?
There's
You
no
know,
such thing as a prime
There's
real estate
such- okay.
location.
she's
You gotta-
Okay.
You might
Okay,
have
so-
major
There's none.
corridors.
So the discussion, so Okay, so we'll wait for you. Thank you.
They got it. That's
Mr.
that's mean the discussion storage is not welcome. Whoever wanna buy land to build storage, you're not welcome here. That's all.
Quick question, Miss. Yeah, they're not welcoming around me. I only have one, and I don't want it. 143rd and 7th, that behind there, behind the flea market, that's industrial, right?
So your entire strip is considered commercial,
Oh,
but
good.
light industrial is permitted within the district.
So put that way, that's not even limit the light industrial in there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now let's do citizen forums. Right? No more item on the agenda. That's citizen forum.
Hello, Claudia Passamino, 13504 Northeast 23rd Place. First of all, I want to apologize for being late tonight. The reason I'm here, sorry?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I've been trying to say something since the beginning of this year, not year, since September, but I keep getting postponed. And once again, my original comment's going to get postponed. I want to give, I was going to say props, but I guess the proper word is commends to the police department. Last night they had a wonderful informational event called Surviving an Active Shooter. And Commander Rivera did an excellent job at giving us information. It was interactive. He was funny. It wasn't boring. So again, I want to give props to them as well as for the other event. Oh, National Takeout Night or National Night Out. I've gone for the past 2 years. Past 2 years, I've enjoyed it. It's been very nice and friendly. And trying to relax because I always get nervous when I speak. Speaking of the terrible shooting that took place 3 years ago, I remember attending a town hall meeting at Griffin Community Center. And at the time, several residents were saying they did not trust the police department. They were upset. I think it was the first time I ever got up to speak in public. And I said, I do trust the police officers because most of them, as we all know, are great officers. They're respectful professionals. And I did say something that I, since then, kind of regret. And I've always wanted to make up for it. I remember that Chief Juriga was on the dais, and I went up and I said, I trust the police officers. I don't trust you guys. I believe it's the word trust. I'm not sure if it was faith. But I take it back because Chief Juriga, in the past 2 years, you have proven and shown that you do care about the community, that you do care about North Miami and all the residents. And again, based on what I've seen since you've been chief, and that's actually when I started to get involved with the city of North Miami, is a great police department. So I want to give you all guys all props for that. Second thing, yeah, you guys definitely deserve it, and the ladies as well. Also, I want to give props to the Hispanic Heritage Committee. I did not go to the event Saturday night, but I heard from friends and relatives that it was great. Everybody came back talking excellent about it. I saw videos of it, so I kind of regret not going. But I know it's a great event when my nieces come back and they tell me to come downstairs, and they're like, you're not going to believe it. Tita, what they call my mom, their grandmother, was dancing. And I was like, what? She was dancing and singing. Now, some of you know my mom, very serious older lady in her early 70s. So they're like, she was dancing. They show me video of her dancing and singing along. So I'm like, oh, wow, I missed a tremendous party. So again, I saw videos. Neighbors were there. They're like, why weren't you there? Other people I know. So I want to give props to that committee. It was a nice event. And once again, there was flags representing all the Latin nations. So thank you guys for that.
Thank you very much.
Jim Garrett, 11610 North Bayshore Drive. Today has been 2 days ago. It's been 4 years since my mom suffered a heart attack on October 20th, 2015. And when she suffered her heart attack, she made 2 911 calls to this city and its operational center. At the time, the city managers, the city attorney, the city clerk, and Councilwoman Estee Mae Urban was not on the dais. So I don't hold that against you. However, the rest of you were. And I addressed first the request of the tapes. I had to go through that request twice, and 2 people helped me on this. This was a former city clerk, Michael, and Stephanie Kenzel. And they got me the tapes after 45 days. I hope that incident never happens again to any senior citizen or any person living in this city. That's my first comment. 2 of you know my mom, and you say she's sweet. And one of you had my mom serve you snow cones when you used to play baseball at Pepper Park. So I hope you remember that, what took place 4 years ago, because since that day, not one incident has happened where a senior citizen in this city. So I think you have taken the correction actions. The second issue is the stadium reconstruction. I call it slow NOMI. We have an open and unsecured facility out there. The last time, I go out there every week to see what's going on. Last Saturday, I picked up a shoe out in the parking lot. One shoe. It's in my car if you want to see it. The both stands are down, which is good. That means we're halfway there. However, when all the other two stands are going to get up, the permanent stands so kids can play football, soccer, and track there. The second, the temporary small stands there are unsafe. We have a big liability out there. The facility is unsecure. I'm waiting for an accident to happen. Third item, environmental friendly. That's what Jessica Austin was talking about and giving you advice on adding solar, water, and she forgot one thing, green roofs. I was the controller of a college in Chicago, and we added a green roof to a top of a facility. The city of Chicago adopted it, and Mayor Daley, and he got it into an ordinance throughout the whole city. Sometimes you need to listen to your residents. Your residents are your best experts. On board appointments, thank you, Vanessa Joseph. I saw your Facebook ads. That was great. However, I see a lot of vacancies on city boards. You know what the talk of the street out there is? Really, many city residents don't want to serve on city boards. You know why? You don't show no appreciation to board members. You treat us like, oh, serve on a board, but you don't listen to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed.
Excuse me?
Okay, you gotta stand up. There's a microphone. Where's the next one? Thank you very much. Where's the next? Okay, go ahead. Use. You said public
If you plan on speaking, as soon as somebody sits down from one mic, please sit.
I'll have to wait
stand
2
up.
minutes after that. I don't know. Go ahead.
William Welsh, 1180 Northeast 118. In the years past, if I remember correctly, public discussion for an item was done after the reading of the item, so we knew what was in it. By what we're given here tonight, I'd have no clue what these things are except for maybe the price of an item. This is ridiculous to expect the residents to know everything of an item. The council didn't even know everything of items and had to postpone at least one. So how do you expect the citizens to know this? You either need to give us a complete package like you have, or let us speak after the presentation, because a lot of our questions are answered during the presentation. Some of them are not, and some of them are raised. One of my questions about the software for the police, is that a one-year reoccurring price, or is that for many years? But because I couldn't speak after, I didn't know, and I will never know. This is ridiculous to expect the citizens to know as much as you do from these little sheets of paper. I suggest you do it like
it's online, sir,
What?
prior to. Can you let me talk?
Some of us don't plan to come here until
since
immediately
Thursday.
before. So at least we could speak after, and that would solve the problem. Then we know what we know what's going on. It's ridiculous.
Thursday prior to council meeting is posted online.
Okay. But
5 days.
I planned to come here at 5 o'clock. I didn't have time to do research. That's why in the past they let us speak after the presentation. And I don't know what the problem is for letting us speak after the presentation unless somebody's trying to hide something.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Good evening, Tanjim Jose, 900 Northeast 129th Street. First of all, thank you for the recognition earlier this evening. I really appreciated it. I don't get recognized a lot, so thanks. Second, I also want to reflect and second some of the comments from an early resident about the Hispanic Heritage Month event. Thank you, Vice Mayor Keys and everybody else involved with that. I know I enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it. In fact, I would say the event was too successful. My mother-in-law was in town, and she attended, and now she wants to move here. So yeah, thanks for that. About the water project, thank you, everybody involved with the water project going on. Great for the future. I know I am very concerned about climate change, sea level rise, and living here in the future. Some of you mentioned the immense costs that it would take to rebuild our water mains, which would, of course, I hope partially solve our 20 to 25% leakage issue. If I heard that correctly, I would ask that you might direct staff at some point in the near future to look into funding for that. I know the history with the bond, et cetera, that's a touchy subject, but again, it is something that I do think we need to address. Along the same lines with affordable housing, great idea, I love it. I, again, greatly appreciate that everybody is on board with that. Specifically, with the stigma, I know workforce housing is another term, and I believe that fits under affordable housing. Maybe that might be an idea we might consider. Also, granny flats, great idea. Easements or lowering easement restrictions, I think, would be great to that point. And then finally, about the roundabouts, Florida friendly, and it's just a personal opinion, I think that's a garbage term. I know UF certifies what they consider a Florida friendly yard. I'm not sure that applies very well to roundabouts. So again, native planting is important, but also if we're talking about affordable housing or about roundabouts, then I think we might consider LEED certification as a requirement. I know some municipalities around the country do require either LEED certification, LEED bronze, LEED silver, LEED gold, so on and so forth, and maybe we can even award bonus density, bonus units based on how high of a LEED certification a project achieves. Might be an idea. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open.
That was awesome. A lot of information quickly. Marisol Medina at 1270 Northeast 124th Street. I think that maybe a motion should be made so that we are allowed to have our time after a presentation occurs. There are many times where even those who are appointed aren't prepared, and so we should be afforded the same opportunity to hear what's going on. Like you said, a lot of questions are answered after a presentation, and there are a lot of things that we aren't well informed about ourselves in our own mental capacity to learn about all of the things that we try to within a municipality. And it would be a great benefit to all of us to be able to do that. A lot of the times we are not prepared for the things that are come up just in that moment when they're doing a presentation. And I would ask that if we could respect one another and allow each representative who is speaking to continue their statement until they have yielded the floor to the next person to speak. It's very hard to be in the audience and not be able to understand quite what's going on because there are a lot of interruptions. It makes the meeting tense and a little bit uncomfortable. Also, there are a couple of moments where we had presentations being made. You asked for certain items, they were trying to respond to you and you cut them off, and that's not a nice thing to do to one another. So there should be more of a humble attitude and greater respect. You made reference to solar panels being a very costly thing. The overall output of a solar panel is greatly beneficial to the $150 to $300 a year that it may cost to maintain. And most of it is in heavier weather where it is damaged or you have to constantly be cleaning it. But we're in Florida, we're the Sunshine State. Should be second nature to us to incorporate things like solar and wind. And unfortunately, wind is not backed up as well as it should be. But it's a great influence, and if you look at the city of Miami, they implemented it. They've been working on projects where any new developments beyond a certain square footage is obligated to put solar panels. So if they can do it as an example, so can we. Thank you for your time.
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125th Street in Sunkist Grove. Here to invite everyone who would like to participate in the Mother Mary McLeod Bethune Chorale, which I'm the founding director of. It's a group, a singing group, which will celebrate the life legacy of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune through song, dance, and the spoken word. The next rehearsal will be at the Arcola Lakes Library on Saturday, November the 2nd, from 4 to 5:30 p.m. You are all welcome. Secondly, we're getting on that time to have our Sunkist Grove Fabulous Festival. Please look out to hear more information about it, and we're looking forward to have a fabulous time. Thank you.
When is your festival, ma? Sunkist Grove Festival?
We're in the application stages, but the proposed event date is the 21st of December, Saturday the 21st of December, and the light celebration will be that next week, which will be the 22nd, Sunday the 22nd through Saturday I think it's the 28th. And we're going to probably be asking you to judge. We're going to have judges, as we did last year, and we will be awarding prizes, as we did last year, the first meeting in 2020. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I'd like to reiterate support for our police department, which I believe is going through an accreditation today, tomorrow, I believe the next day. I hope our citizens who have not already participated in submitting a letter of support might be able to do that. And I wish our police department the very best in getting through this accreditation process. I'd like to give a quick shout out to Dr. Hector Medina, who's home with recovering from his shoulder surgery. I'd like to also comment about the concern for green, sustainable design in in implementing measures in our city. I believe some of our code does entail that, and it is related to bonus units, dwelling units and such. If we really wanted to take it a little bit more seriously and really encourage it that much more, there are different levels of LEED certification, silver, gold, platinum, and so on. And if we were to say, if you have a certain height and density, and if you go to the silver status, you may get 25%. You go to gold, maybe you get a 50% bonus. You go to platinum, which is very expensive, then you might be able to go to 100% bonus on terms of height and or density. This would truly encourage it, because there is a great cost, but there's a great payback to the city, and it's something to be very proud of. On another note, I wasn't here at the last meeting, but about a month ago, I was a little bit, as you could see, a little bit disturbed about the outcome of the drive-through, and having considered a little bit further, I would like to extend my apologies to Councilwoman Keys of the tone of my voice. Not necessarily all the content, but at least the harshness of it, and I apologize for that if I seemed a little harsh at the time. And I've reevaluated what, based on what we've seen tonight, what Councilwoman Mary Esteem Irwin has submitted regarding the concern for the self-storage and to cut down on the blight in our city of that character. Not that it shouldn't be any, but to sort of get a handle on this. I think it's very commendable that this was presented, and that it seemed to be the entire panel, everybody up there seemed to be in support of trying to get some sort of measure to get things on track. And as I relook at it, you know, if you guys have been throwing like a no-hitter or a shutout, and you give up a run or a hit, that's pretty damn good if you win the game in the long run. So I continue to appreciate everything you do to try to make the city better. And I know it may not be perfect, but it certainly is noticed that you are trying to make good efforts. So thank you very much for those efforts and all your accommodations to make a better city.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is now closed. Councilwoman Keys.
Wanted to thank all the comments of our Hispanic Heritage La Gran Fiesta Saturday. I think it was a fabulous event. I want to thank our co-hosts, Rosa Henriquez, Chief Juriga, and Lucia Gonzalez, and the committee worked really hard, put on a beautiful event. I think everybody enjoyed it, so thank you. And also, last night, we did have an active shooter presentation by our police department. It was fabulous. It was scary. It was real. It was enjoyable. And if you missed it, I really think you should go to the next one, because I really learned a lot. And I was in just a little bit of a situation, Aventine Mall, and you're there, and it's scary. And what I learned last night really was helpful. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Madam City Clerk, are you doing board appointments this evening?
Did you have somebody you wanted to appoint?
No,
Okay.
I'm.
No,
I'm
I mean,
watching-
it wasn't on the, since we just put out the board vacancies and we just started publicizing.
I have a hard and fast to be somewhere at 10 p.m., so I'm going to be making my apologies as I leave.
Okay.
The only thing I have to report tonight is the passing of Carol Helene. Carol Helene was one of the founding members of the North Miami Historical Society, very active in the Friends of the North Miami Library, the Arch Creek Trust. She passed away, I believe it was October the 7th, at the ripe age of 90. So she lived a good life, and we just want to keep her family in our prayers as we move forward.
What's
Thank you,
that?
Mr.
Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you. Again, I would like to thank the police department, especially you, Chief. Thank you so much for the active shooter training. Thank you for the teen tour, for swearing the young officers, the junior officers. Thank you for that. I would like to also keep reminding you that we're celebrating the Florida City Government Week, and to find some way to engage if you don't already do that. I would like to remind you that anyone that'd like to speak with me can do that tomorrow and have coffee with me at 7 a.m. at Griffin Center. And also on Saturday, we're going to have Movie on the Lawn, and we're going to show Lion King, so bring your families and children with you, and that should be a whole lot of fun. And again, the Hispanic Heritage Committee, I'd like to thank you. It was a job well done, and we had a whole lot of fun that night. So, and that's all that I have to say for tonight. Oh, just the theme this week, I didn't emphasize that when I spoke last time. It's my city, I'm a part of it, and I'm proud of it. So I hope that you're part of your city and you're proud of your city.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
Well, just for me, recently, as was mentioned before, we started to publicize aggressively, a little bit more aggressively, the board vacancies. And while, there may be some sentiment that you're not appreciated, I personally do appreciate any and everyone who actually serves on a board, because it does take a lot of sacrifice to actually give your time, really consider what is going to be best to push the city forward. And you do this service not only for yourself, but on behalf of your neighbors. And so it's really important work. So please, if you yourself are interested, or know of anybody who would be great on a board or is interested, please have them apply to serve on a board or a committee. And those applications could be found online and also at the clerk's office on the first floor. In addition to that, I just want to address the agenda packets very briefly. The agenda packets are available online. So each time, what you should be receiving is a notice that the agenda is out. If that's not happening, I will find a way to make sure that message is out, but feel free to stop by the clerk's office before the meeting, and we'll have at least one available. I can't say that we're going to print all these copies because that does cost money, but we can have it digitally available, or at least one copy that you could at least look through and see, because this information is online. And if you just go to, the northmiamifl.gov, you click on government, agendas and minutes, it's there, and the packets are there, and you can click through the tabs and see the entire, everything that we see or that the council sees from the dais, you'll be able to see as well. So
You
please
said you're going to print them 500 copies?
What I said was that I'll have one copy available that people can look through, and I said that I wasn't going to print multiple copies because that would be a heavy expense. But nonetheless, it would be available, and we'll try to figure out if we can, maybe place a tablet or something at the front where people can actually just flip through it or see it. So I just want you to know that, nobody's hiding anything. This information is there. Maybe we're just not doing the best job of making it very clear that it is available. And again,
It's clear. People don't know. They just want to say that on record, that we hiding things. Maybe you've been here for just a few days. I've been there for a year. They just want to say that on record so the media can know that we are hiding things. But they know it's online, and they know when it's there. Thank you. Are you done with it?
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
With
No,
regard,
can you let her finish with her
Okay.
report?
Well,
Go ahead.
my question is going to be to the clerk, so whenever she's done.
Okay, yes, go ahead, ma'am.
would you like to ask your question now?
Sure. I just want to talk about the boards, because last time I was going to make a board appointment, and we said, no, we're going to do it next time. Our boards are not functioning, we don't have quorums, because we don't have people appointing enough people. We really need to get our boards, and, I
The
mean,
problem, we have too many, 26 boards.
well, but we have
We can
boards by
reduce
charter.
them.
We have a youth opportunity board, it's not meeting. I asked my appointee, well, have you gone? We're not meeting. Parks, we don't have quorum. Affordable housing, do we have a board yet appointed? Is
For-
that empty, the
for
Affordable
what?
Housing Committee?
No, we haven't. We don't have a board yet.
So when we're gonna get all our boards, we're just,
When we start discussing affordable housing, I don't think we don't have things yet about affordable housing. We gotta have things. We just have the boards, but they don't function.
okay.
That's the
well,
problem.
Then I don't want this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, are you done?
No, I'm going to finish now.
Go ahead.
And I also want to remind everybody that this time is a great time to do your passports, because they're processed a little bit faster, because not that many people are applying. So better for you to apply to renew your passport now than to wait for sometime later. And that is all from me.
May I have a point of privilege?
Can we wait when she finishes?
That's what she just said.
You
that.
done?
She's done.
I didn't
Yeah.
hear. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just to address some of the things that we were talking, Mr. Manager, I think we talked about this. Is it possible that we can get, when the agendas are printed, that we can just send a mass email to everyone so that they can receive the agendas and we could?
I've already asked my PIO
Thank
to perform that. I thought Chief of Staff had set it up, but I'll check. 'Cause
Okay.
From when you asked me. It's
Mm.
been going through the contacts, because we asked them to send it through an additional message through Constant Contacts. So if they're signed up, then they're getting that, but it's there, like it's there.
So
I
you,
thought
what
they
you're
alre-
saying
I think
is.
they already set it up, but I'll check.
I'm not sure. No, it's not, because I'm not receiving it.
Okay.
Okay.
They're not receiving it, but
No,
don't-
I'm just, this is just an additional, I've had this conversation already with the manager, just asking that we have that as a standard. Miami-Dade County has that. Every Tuesday, or every other Tuesday,
It's a
I receive an
subscription,
email.
yeah.
Exactly. So,
And maybe we look into doing that, which is a subscription service. They have to affirmatively sign up. And
Right.
if they do, then we'll push every single meeting notice, but I will tell you.
With all the pages,
Yeah.
have
It'll be
space
a
on your
link.
phone.
No,
Mm.
it's a link to
Oh, a
the,
link, okay.
to the agenda. So it'll link you back to the same thing
right.
that's there.
But it's an extra step that we're taking. Thank you.
Are you done? I am. You done, Carl?
yes, sir.
City Attorney.
Yes, sir. As we discussed, I need one last final executive session on the Regine Modestine case number 2016-023-904-CA01. It should be very, very short, so hopefully we can do it just before the next council meeting. I probably only need about 10, 15 minutes of your time.
Thank you very much. City Manager, do you have any reports?
No report, sir.
Thank you very much. You are done. Can I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn made by Vice Mayor Keys, seconded by Councilwoman Estime Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 3-0.